Hey everyone, I'm here with formerly known as Kurama. He's now Itachi, and he's another great MGTOW YouTube channel. He does a lot of live streams, and he has a great interaction with his community. So we're just gonna chill out for a couple hours and talk. How about you give like a little introduction to your channel for those who haven't found you yet?
Oh, absolutely. And before I start, I must say what an honor it is to be on the Happy Humble Hermit show. I mean, this is truly a milestone for me. It's always a pleasure. I guess you could say I'm a midtown content creator, just like anyone else. I give my views and my opinions, and some of them tend to be the norm, some of them tend to be radically different. So you kind of just have to watch some of my videos to truly understand where I'm coming from. uh that's really all I can say about that.
So, what made you start your channel?
Channel, I had all this information, all these life experiences, and I just thought to myself, like, am I really going to keep all this information to myself? I've had so much experience, so many experiences, you could say with women, good and bad. So many life stories that could, if I had heard this information from someone else, could have prevented so much, shit from happening in my life. And I said, you know what? There's probably like some 15-year-old guy out there who hasn't gone through certain, pitfalls and traps with women yet. And if he hears this information, it could save him a lot of stress and a lot of heartache that I had to learn, the hard way.
That's great, dude. I mean, we all had to give back. We all learned from each other, and it's very important for everyone to give back. And even people who don't have YouTube channels, you can still give back in the comments because other guys read those comments. So all of us can give back in our own ways.
Sure. Most definitely. Most definitely.
What since you're plugged in cuz you do a lot of interaction with your base, where do you think MGTOW is going to go this year? What are your predictions?
This year. Well, I don't know, man. I've got to be honest. I've been seeing a few videos from other content creators saying there could. I know this is going to be a very unpopular opinion, but you know me, I just call it as I see it. I'm not going to lie. I think some tension is going to arise in the MGTOW community. And I think it'll grow, as far as views and stuff like that. But I kind of have two theories. If it really gets too big and really starts making a buzz, that the YouTube powers that be can just immediately start shutting channels down. And there really isn't any other platform like YouTube out there. Yeah, we can all move to BitChute, but I just don't see that really being effective. I mean, we have a hard enough time cracking, 100,000 views on a video on YouTube, and that's the biggest platform. So if we have to go to another platform, it's going to be devastating. So that kind of just irritates me, knowing that the future of MGTOW is in the hands of a leftist, feminized, YouTube ownership, if you will. That's my first fear, is that they'll just start shutting channels down left and right. My second fear is that there will be infighting within the MGTOW community, because this on my own channel, man. Like, I'll have people who subscribe to me in the beginning, right? And they're like, yo, Itachi, man, we love your videos. But as I start to release more videos and give them more knowledge and expand their minds, they start to get cockier and cockier. And I've even had a few of my own subscribers turn on me. They start to feel like they're hotshots now. They start to feel like they don't need me anymore. And they start kind of talking some shit. And I think you're going to start seeing that, amongst a lot of other MGTOW channels as well. I think, people are going to start turning on some of the big content creators. You're already seeing little beefs between people like, I don't know, Sandman and LFA. I think there's going to be infighting and, people trying to shut each other down and stuff like that. I don't know. That's just the direction I feel it's going to go in. I don't think there's going to
No,
be.
I fully agree, man. I see that myself. I don't know if you heard, but Undead Chronic, his channel's gone as of yesterday. I talked to him and he said he got doxxed, so he took his channel down. So it's not even YouTube that's going to put the ban hammer down. They already destroyed other channels, but it's the SJWs, it's the cuck boys that are going to really put the pressure on us. And then that's not the time to be divisive, not to fight amongst ourselves. But I totally see what you're saying. I've seen it myself on my channel when I start talking about AWOLT. A lot of the MGTOW guys believe there are good women out there, You know, they can't swallow that last red pill that even if they find a good girl, she's still subject to those productive to be fighting with each other.
Very true. You know, another theory that I have, man, and it's just a shame that all of them end up badly. But another theory that I have is, let's pretend every guy listening right now who is like a hardcore dedicated MGTOW, right? And he's, you know, let's pretend every guy listening is the kind of MGTOW that's not going to want to have a wife and kids, isn't going to want to pass on their seed, right? It's just like a devout group. You know, sure, some of us pump and dump, sure, some of us go monk, but let's pretend every guy follows MGTOW down to a T and just gives nothing back to society. All of us get old and die. You know, we might be known in history as like a noble tribe of men who stood up and didn't give a fuck and did what they wanted. But once we die, we're not reproducing. So we're not creating really another generation of MGTOW men, I don't think. So like if we all die out, wouldn't the gynocentric cycle just continue?
I mean, I would disagree. I would offer one little point. We're creating MGTOW men long after we're gone because of our example that we set with our lives and the content we're making. That's why they're so scared. Because sure, a guy can go on his own, you know, and sure he's penalizing the tax system by withdrawing his funds. But then when that same man reaches out and reaches 10,000 other men, you know, that's when it becomes a problem, because now he's affecting other men who otherwise would have been subjected to the culture and the system. So I think MGTOW is something that they don't know how to deal with, you know, because they've always, the powers that be, they always depend on men trying to fix the system, men trying to negotiate, men being invested in it. And MGTOW is the absolute freedom from that system. And I don't think they prepared for that pushback.
You know, I guess you're right. I have to agree with you. The only thing I guess that could stop MGTOW, because you know, you gotta understand, it is still in its infancy. You know, the biggest MGTOW creator, I believe, subscriber wise, is Sandman, and he has like maybe 120,000 subscribers. Even that is nothing at the end of the day. I mean, if you're not pushing 5 million subscribers, 50 million subscribers, you're really not. You know, you're really not making a huge impact yet. But the way I see it, the only thing that could really just, you know, nip MGTOW in the bud is if YouTube really started cracking down on all our channels and just like overnight wiping us all out, you know, like assassination style. Because what other platform could we really reach a ton of people on?
You're right, there is none. I upload all my videos automatically to BitChute, but that is not a viable alternative because those barely crack 20 views. So that's not, there's no translation of viewership to BitChute. So YouTube is the last platform. And they can easily ban MGTOW with keywords because MGTOW has become a giant umbrella of topics. You know, MGTOW is not a tool to fight feminists. That's not what it's for, but it can do that. It is a part of that. So you have the anti-SJW videos, you have the videos about female nature, you have videos about independence, you have all these different types of videos. They can just make a blanket statement and just ban all MGTOW videos, all MGTOW channels.
You know, I think that's something we should be preparing for, honestly, man. We should have a way to, and that's why I took the MGTOW out of my name. It's not that I'm not MGTOW anymore. It's that I want to keep certain heat off of me. And I want to be able to bring in new men to my channel that might not click on a video that has the word MGTOW in it. They might not know what that means. So they think, all right, I don't know what this is. I don't want to click on it. I noticed I started attracting way more guys to my channel when they just see the topic of the video. And they're like, oh, what is that? You know, like, why shouldn't date a woman under 25? Oh, let me flip that. You know, so see it. Like you said, they can ban the word MGTOW. By putting a name on it, it puts us at risk because now we are, you know, yeah, we say we're all going our own way, but by putting a name on it, we are now technically part of an organization, whether we like it or not, whether we accept it or not.
Yeah, that's a great point. I'm pretty sure DDJ dropped the label and TFM might have as well. So it's just it's guerrilla warfare tactics. You know, we can hide under the system because YouTube is so big. There are cracks in the system that we can get through. It's going to be little hit and run tactics. One channel goes down, you just got to keep keep making new ones.
I think the way to really get exposed, and this might piss people off, but fuck it, I call it as I see it. Like I said, a way to really get exposure might be to just stop using the word MGTOW. Hear me out, because if we have a bunch of big channels and we all know each other, right? As men, we all know each other. Our message is reaching men, but we're not using the word MGTOW so that we're not getting certain attention on us. We're just literally saying the same exact message without putting a label on it. That makes it a lot harder for them to pinpoint us and track us down and delete our channels. You know what they do in prison, man, with the gangs? The leader of the gangs in prison, they never say who they are. They like let's say you have like the white gang, the black gang, the Mexican gang. They all kind of blend in with each other, but no one ever declares themselves the leader, because that person gets sent to the hole and then their group gets dismantled. It's kind of the same thing with MGTOW. If we start declaring like MGTOW kings, let's say like, oh, Sandman is the MGTOW king, he's the biggest MGTOW channel. And that's how they start cracking down on you. That's how they start shutting it all down. They're like, okay, well, this is technically a cult. We should just, anyone who uses the word MGTOW, boom, your channels are getting shut down. And that's what I fear happening maybe in the next like 1 to 3 years, honestly.
That's true.
Yeah,
I think it'll definitely happen before 3 years. I don't know if you saw, but I was watching the news the other day and I saw this like new hashtag thing called hashtag walk away. It's like people leaving the Democratic Party because it's so radical, but the little blurb that they summarized with the movement literally was MGTOW. It was people being fed up of the system and going their own way, and I think that's the prelude to MGTOW becoming mainstream at the end of this year or next year. So we're gonna deal with this sooner rather than later.
Right. And and the way I see it, man, if we're getting the message out there, and a lot of men are coming to the channel and applying the strategies and techniques to protect themselves on a mass level, why does it really matter if we have the word MGTOW in it or not? It's kind of a false sense of security, a false sense of identity that can be stripped away from us at any time when we advertise this label. And here's the thing, I love belonging. I love feeling like I'm part of a group, but I also know how the powers that be crack down on us. And when we give them a label, when we, it's like, how do I explain this? When you say you're in a gang and there's evidence that you're in a gang, when they create like conspiracy charges to lock you up, if they can just tie you to that gang, they can arrest everyone involved, no matter who committed the crime. It's kind of the same thing with MGTOW. If they just decide, we don't like that word on YouTube, and anyone who's a part of that is like our enemy, they'll just literally shut all the MGTOW channels down. So I don't know. I think we need to start getting a little more crafty and creative in the future.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you because MGTOW is more than its name. Bachelors have existed and monks have existed throughout all of history. It's not something unique to our time. I think it does provide a great entry into the community, that title, so people might become disjointed, but eventually it's going to have to come to that because they can so easily ban all the MGTOW channels because we all use the same phrases. We all use AWOL, MGTOW, unicorns, soy boys. They can censor and isolate those key words to take everyone out at once.
Absolutely. And that's really the tricky, I think, task that we have ahead of us is just, finding a way around that. That's just what it is.
What are your plans going forward with your channel? Are you going to expand outside of MGTOW?
I already have. I'm trying to bring in as many men as possible that haven't even heard of MGTOW. And like I said, I noticed the videos where I don't put MGTOW in the title, the YouTube search algorithm gets it out there to way more people by they're smart. They can't just ban us yet. They haven't figured out their little political bullshit of how they're going to get us for hate speech. So what they do is the videos I have where I put MGTOW in the title, it only pops up to other MGTOWs. And although it's great that they see the message, if they already know about it and they're already subscribed, it help it expand. It's sort of just like preaching to the choir, but it's not bringing more people into the choir. So that's really what I'm trying to do moving forward, is get as many blue pill guys who haven't heard of it to really see it And I'm not necessarily saying I'm going to try to convert them myself, or it's my dream to wake up the blue pill men. But you know, why not get maximum exposure? That's just the way I see it.
Yeah, you're gonna find that you're gonna get a lot of trad cons, and that's gonna be kind of frustrating. But Sandman made a great point in one of his videos where he doesn't see all the new MGTOW channels as competition because it all trickles down. So people may be coming into MGTOW through your channel or Undead Chronics or my channel, and then they filter out through the community. So really, it's good that we can branch out in all these different directions. There's plenty of different types of channels. You know, Darius has the nice little live streams where it's just pure red pills, unfiltered. Then you have the comedy that MGTOW 101 used to do and Undead Chronic used to do. So there's plenty of different avenues for men to get into the community.
True. Um, Yeah, yeah, I could see that. You know, one point I wanted to make also, I had no idea Undead Chronic got banned, by the way. He would comment on my videos all the time, but it's funny, someone told me, because Undead Chronic, his channel, he came after me and he started growing way faster than me. And you see a trend, all of the channels like MGTOW 101, Undead Chronic, FemHater HD, if you're familiar with FemHater, all the channels that post news clips, they definitely get a much bigger buzz way faster. They attract more subscribers way faster, but they also get taken down the fastest because you're using copyrighted material. So people try to like, here's what my point I'm trying to say is, not only do you get taken down faster when you use news clips, on top of that, you're not really giving anyone information that's going to make their lives better. It's kind of just like MGTOW gossip. It's like guilty pleasure MGTOW knowledge. And although I appreciate that from time to time, I think we need to have more content creators like you and like me coming out who literally just speak off the top of their head, give life experiences, how to, you know, avoid certain things. Like every video I do, you know, I'll tell a story, but then there's always a moral at the end of the story. There's always a way around the problem. I think creators really need to start focusing more on making videos like that, solving problems, making men's lives easier. You know, I plan to do videos on how to protect your money from women, how to manipulate them into not wanting to file a false rape charge against you, how to manipulate them into feeling sorry for you so they don't try to keep your kid if they get pregnant. You know, stuff like that, stuff that men really need to hear, not just gossip about another feminist embarrassing herself on TV. I feel like we have so much of that in the community. We really need more people just dropping knowledge, you know. The guilty pleasure stuff is good from time to time, but it shouldn't be the majority of what we're seeing, you know?
Yeah, I mean, Undead Chronic, he tripled my views and my subscribers in like a couple months. So he blew up. I tried to copy his format. I did like 2 reaction videos, and one of the reaction videos is one of my most viewed videos. So definitely there's an audience out there. I just think I think it's good if it's applicable to a person's individual path. So if you're using something as like a reaction to like to warn people and steer people away from a certain type of scenario or situation, I think that's when it's good content. If it's just like, because it's not hard to make fun of feminists, you know, that's kind of low-hanging fruit. But if you apply that in different ways that are applicable to, that are pragmatic and practical, you know, like tips on how to avoid unwanted pregnancies and stuff like that, that's
Yes.
that's valuable content.
I see what you're saying. I don't know. Maybe it's just my nature. I like to really just dive deep into topics.
Yeah.
Oh, another thing I plan on doing is literally videos on like health, because here's the thing. As men going our own way, yeah, we save a lot of money by not getting married and pissing all our money away on women and child support and alimony. But if you're not taking care of your health and you're, you know, like smoking cigars and eating fucking candy all day, you're going to pay all that money that you would have paid in divorce fees. So I'm really going to start going into videos. Like, I know people are sick to death of me talking about the vegan shit. So I'm going to try to not talk about the vegan shit too much. But I've really been experimenting with literally natural cures for diseases. Like, people tell me, bro, Itachi, you did this video where you said you're really going to start getting into all this deep knowledge, all this crazy knowledge. What is it, some of it going to be about? So I'm giving you guys a little sneak peek. I'm going to start literally going into how to cure diseases naturally. diseases that they say are uncurable. I've even tested a few of these on myself. I've had certain health problems that if you go on the internet, they are uncurable or incurable, and I've cured myself of them. I want to start getting into really like shit like that is just not even talked about. I've been studying people like Dr. Sabi, and certain like herbal healers that can literally cure you of any disease, AIDS, cancer, herpes, whatever. As men going our own way, we still need to protect ourselves health wise. And although we've dodged one bullet of avoiding women in the legal system, that's like one of 20 traps that are out there to enslave you as a man. Just because you walked away from women doesn't mean you can't go to prison. Just because you walked away from women doesn't mean your health can't go to shit and you could, pay fucking $500,000 in medical bills. There are so many other little intricate traps out there to trap a man besides women that I feel like we need to protect ourselves from as well. And I feel like a lot of guys, because they decide, oh, I'm going to go my own way, I'm not going to be fucking with these women anymore, I'm going to just overload on other guilty pleasures like smoking, drinking, partying. And it's like, if you're living a self-destructive lifestyle, why even really go your own way? Like, if you're going to replace one poison with another,
Yeah, I
that's just
I
the way I
totally
see it.
relate, dude. Because when I first really went MGTOW, I struggled with that. I figured I'm saving so much that I can be a little relaxed in other areas in my health, and it definitely affects you. And that's the great part about MGTOW. That's my favorite part, is that it incorporates so much into the philosophy. You can talk about economics, individuality, health. It all incorporates freedom because it's a man's life. That's what MGTOW is, and that's everything.
Very true. Yeah, I agree.
Did you fall into that trap too? Did you become self-destructive after finding MGTOW?
Yeah, it's when I was going through the red pill rage, I don't know what, it was like a void I was trying to fill in myself. So I became this very gluttonous, consuming person. Like, I, and this is another dangerous thing, once you go your own way, it is good. It's really good if you can start getting into like an herbal healing and stuff, because what I did when I first went MGTOW, like I said, I tried to fill one void with the other. So I'm like, all right, I'm never going to get married. I'm never going to have a family. Let me replace that desire with this desire to become this like millionaire, business tycoon, mob boss, consuming fucking whores, eating junk food. I was like I had a pretty good job, right? And I was driving, like I went and financed a fucking $50,000 Mercedes when I was making like $50,000 a year. And I was eating like Popeye's chicken every day. And I was just like having unprotected sex with whores on Tinder. I mean, I was just doing like crazy self-destructive shit because I was so, I don't know, like mad that that I'm not going to be able to do the wife and kids thing. So I was just like, I don't know what it was, man. I don't
It's
even know
the
how to
dark side
explain
of
that.
freedom. It's the dark side of freedom.
I was,
I've done most of that except the Mercedes, but it's
yeah,
it's if you have unrestrained freedom and you're not used to that level of responsibility, because you have to control yourself. Even if you're free, you have to have some control, or else it's just going to be a liability. You'd be better off without the freedom if you don't know how to handle it. So
true.
that's a very important topic that I think more MGTOW should talk about, and it's even
Yeah.
something that we're all working towards together, because I'm not even fully there yet. So I can offer like what I've gone through and my experience, but I think all of us have our own path in dealing with that awesome power of freedom that I think should be a center focus.
I hate to quote like fucking Spider-Man, but that saying, like, with great power comes great responsibility, is very true. You've had the blessing of being awakened and having your mind open to the traps around you. You do kind of have a responsibility to take care of yourself now. I mean, there are blue pill guys that will never even understand the fucking rat race they're in, the trap they're in, and they would kill to be able to have the knowledge you have and apply it the right way. So to kind of piss it all down the drain with bad habits and a sort of consumeristic, gluttonous lifestyle, it's almost like it's like spitting on the blessing you've been given.
It absolutely is. It absolutely is. The thing I've struggled with is like a form of nihilism. You know, because obviously this society is going down the shitter, and the thing that I struggled with was that it's going to collapse, so you might as well enjoy yourself now before shit hits the fan. Um, and that's not that mentality is useful in certain ways. You know, it alleviates stress of worrying about that stuff, but it's also not helpful at all to any long term goals. It really hinders you. So you have to be aware of your surroundings and where things are going, but you can't let that dictate your path. You can't let society dictate your future.
Very true. Very true. Yeah, I mean, you really do have to find your own way, your own goals, your own purpose as a man. So, the same one,
What MGTOW topic was the most controversial for your channel?
I'll tell you the video that got the most hate was this video I did. It's my second most popular video. It's called The Number One Problem with Modern American Women, or I think it's called The Number One Problem with American Women. I don't know if you saw it, but basically in the video, I talk about the number one problem with American women is that they don't know how to serve their man. A woman, whether, and I know like a feminist would cringe if she heard me saying this right now, meant to serve her man. Her man is her ruler. Her man is her king. There's a reason why we as men love feeling like a king. Tell me, Hermit, that you wouldn't love a woman that respects you and adores you like a king and treats you like a king. Is that not the ultimate fantasy for a man?
I mean, I see where you're going. It used to be. Yeah, it used to be. It used to be before I really accepted. Yeah, yeah. I mean, because I've talked about this a little bit on my channel, and my point of view is that that is great, but then you'd become a wage slave, because now if she treats you like a king, you have that burden to act like a king, to take care of your kingdom. If you're setting your roots down, if you're sowing your seeds, if you're making a family, you're going to have to take on responsibility. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying know what you're signing up for, because you're still going to be a wage slave. She may not be a radical, insane feminist, and she may not be a cheating whore either, because not all women are. I'm not saying there are unicorns. I'm saying that all women have the potential to be cheating whores, but not all of them are. So you may have found a decent woman, but you're still going to be enslaved into that. So yes, before I found MGTOW, that would be a fantasy, but now after, I've realized that's why I don't have that a lot of the rage phase left, because I've realized that this is the best that I can get. This is absolute freedom. But I understand what you're saying. Yeah.
Oh, and that's true. And look, when I said that, I was referring to in an ideal society where men have all the power and don't have to be wage slaves and don't have to worry about getting divorce raped. On a biological level, men get pleasure from being treated like a king, being appreciated, having their woman serve them, and they get pleasure from providing for their woman. If you lived in a healthy society where your woman loved and appreciated you and wouldn't leave you and treated you like a king, you would actually get pleasure from taking care of her and your children, because that is biology. That is what we were meant to do. We just live in a society that's so dysfunctional that we are forced to go against our biological narrative. But in a healthy world, we are meant to be loved and praised by our women and to provide and take care of them. We actually get pleasure from both things when it's done right. But in this twisted society, of course, that's not going to happen. And all you can do is provide without being appreciated for it. So it defeats the purpose. But to answer your previous question, that is my most triggering video that I did, is that women are meant to serve men. Because women have been so brainwashed to do the exact opposite. Hearing the truth, they can't handle that.
So did you get a lot of shit from feminists or other like soy boys?
Strictly from women. And this is And I deleted pretty much all of their comments because I just don't like women talking shit on my channel. I just don't want that negativity. Men agreed with me unanimously. Like 100% of men were like, "Fuck yeah, bro! Like that's the message. They are meant to serve us because that's what men want deep down." But these feminazis, they were totally triggered. Actually, no. To be honest, 80% of the women were triggered, and I actually had 20% of women that commented, "Yes, I love serving my husband. I love taking care of my man. I love being a girly girl. I love seeing the world through rose-colored glasses and taking care of the house and all that." But I even deleted those women's comments as well because I just had a strict no women comment policy on my channel. But yeah, I had actually like maybe 20 to 30% of women that agreed with me, and then maybe 60 to 70 that were so triggered by it. And how dare you ask us to serve a man?
Yeah, I'm really tempted to do that policy as well. I only delete comments that advocate for violence. So I leave the women's comments out, but I don't reply to them because they're just there for attention. But the sad thing is that those female comments get the most replies on any video.
It
And
is,
it's
and it
so
shows how
it's
much
yeah.
it shows how much simping there secretly still is, even in the MGTOW community.
Yeah.
A lot of guys who pretend to be cold-blooded, hardcore MGTOW, under pressure, still cave in and simp, which
Well,
I found a little
that's
hilarious.
the most shocking thing I've found since I started the channel. I'd say like well over half the community are one blowjob away from the plantation.
True,
It's
very true.
it's really sad, but I mean, we can try to help them, but I think it's the lack of female experience. And I'm not saying men need female experience to go MGTOW, but it does help you get over it easier if you know what it is. If you feel like you're missing out on something, if you haven't fully
True.
experienced it, that's when you get the simping. But
Oh,
if you've been around the block and you know that you're not missing out on shit, female nature, it's a lot easier to just go your own way.
that brings up another interesting point as far as one of my fears of MGTOW being ripped apart is that I fear that there could eventually be a sort of war between the guys who were getting laid their whole lives, like myself, and like the MGTOW who are good with women and who have been getting laid and who have been privileged enough to get laid and truly understand women for what they are from experience, against the guys who are kind of bitter and upset because they never got laid. It's sort of like the LFA Sandman war, but on a massive scale, on a massive level. I fear that happening because let's be honest, man. There's even jealousy in MGTOW, and there are guys who are jealous of other guys in MGTOW who they know for a fact have been successful with women. And even like guys give me a lot of shit for still pumping and dumping. And while I believe some of it is because they are genuinely concerned for me, I do believe a very big majority of guys who give me shit for pumping and dumping, it does come from a place of jealousy.
It is. It absolutely
Guys
is. Because
still want to get laid.
yeah, I deal with the same thing, dude. I'm not celibate, and I get so much shit in the comments. They think you can't be MGTOW unless you're full on celibate monk. Um, and
It
I've
gets
already
really
argued that monk mode is the best because when I've done it, I've been the most productive, the most focused, the most happy. Um, but to just disqualify people on that criteria and nullify everything they've said on their channel or in the comments is really frustrating. It shows that maturity level of these guys. They haven't realized that. I mean, I'm a 22-year-old guy. If I'm spitting these red pills, that means I have experience. I'm not just parroting off what I've heard. I've learned these things myself. You can't do that if I'm uh, an incel. Not getting attention.
uh, and that's the thing. At the end of the day, to use like a jocks and nerds analogy, but the two will never truly be able to mesh well and understand each other and have a truly healthy relationship because they just come from two different walks of life. The guys who have been getting laid their whole lives and the guys who haven't, they're never going to see completely eye to eye. So that's already division within MGTOW, whether we want to face that or not. And you kind of saw that with the whole LFA Sandman situation. I mean, let's cut the shit, bro. LFA, he drops a lot of truth, and a lot of the shit he gets is because he's a handsome motherfucker. Let's cut the shit. I'm a good looking guy. I'm like a 7 out of 10. And when I saw LFA, I got to admit, even I got a little jealous of the guy. I'm like, fuck, dude, I thought I was handsome. This dude like blows me out of the water. So let's not kid ourselves. Men get jealous of other men,
Yeah,
and jealousy,
LFA is definitely a Chad, but I'll just say from personal experience, the because I'm a skinny tall guy, skinny guys get a lot of attention too. A lot of girls like um the, I don't want to say emo type, but you know, like the boy band, the
Rockstar. Yeah,
yeah,
the
yeah,
fucking
yeah. So you don't have to be a huge buff guy to get attention. It's more of just like having a good facial uh a set of facial features. But LFA is definitely, he, I think he underrates himself. I saw one video where he said he's like a 7. I'm like, dude, stop humble
oh,
bragging. Get the fuck
he
out of here.
was, yeah, and people saw through that. But see, he knew that's what he had to do to fit in because he knew he was going to get shit for his looks because he knew there's jealousy. And not all MGTOW are honorable stand-up guys. There are a lot of bitch-made fucking faggots in MGTOW. I hate to be honest, but dude, I did a video the other day. I literally dissed like 60 to 70% of my subscribers. I said, look, I see what most of you say on the channel. A good 60 to 70% of you are fucking idiots. You really don't have anything positive to say. You come in here to start shit with each other. You're not really interested in growing. You're interested in MGTOW gossip. You're interested in just hating on women without actually growing yourself and becoming a better man and becoming a freer man. You just want to be like eat the MGTOW junk food, which is the gossip, but you don't want to eat your fucking vegetables. And when I try to feed you guys the vegetables that are actually going to make your lives better, 20 to 30% of you actually see what I'm saying and appreciate it and want to grow. But then like 60 to 70% want to just be little shit talking bitches. So that's kind of a problem, is that it's so easy for anyone to claim the title of MGTOW when I feel like a lot of them don't even really deserve it, straight up. Maybe I'm just a fucking Nazi or some shit, but I feel like a good 60 to 70% of guys in MGTOW really don't bring any value to the group, straight up.
That's
And that's why I've kind of taken on a more elitist, view on my channel. And I've just started, really, that's why I want to create like a private super group of men who really want to, become successful and free and powerful. And, fuck it.
that is a great point. That's a great analogy you made with the junk food. I would just say that, because I see that as well on my channel, I would just say a lot of men are stuck in the early phases of the MGTOW journey. You know, they're stuck in the rage phase, the hating women phase, and it's not, it has a place. It's good to vent because we don't have any other place to vent. You know, these men have all that pent up energy, so it's good to release that. It's just, it becomes tiresome, especially interacting with that, because I'm way past that. I don't hate women. I get upset when I see women use the courts and use the laws to harm men. That really pisses me off. But as far as female nature, like seeing monkey branching, seeing hypergamy, that stuff, I'm not angry. I've accepted that. That's nature. That's like seeing a pack of dogs fuck outside. That's the same thing. You know, that's not shocking. But there is a large percentage of men stuck in that anger phase, and it's really just about getting them past that the best we can. You know, I don't like the channels that encourage men to stay in that phase. But it is good to have places to vent. You know, as long as you're making steps to get over that anger, to get to acceptance, as long as you can see over the hill and visualize where you want to be in the future, it's all about self-improvement. And if you're just stuck in a perpetual phase of essentially victimhood, that's what it is. You think you're being taken advantage of by women, and you are in society. But if you're going MGTOW, the whole point is you're freeing yourself of that victimhood, not staying stuck in that cycle.
True, very true. And it's funny, man. A lot of these guys who are in the victim stage, they secretly still want to get laid. They secretly would jump ship in a minute if they could be successful with women. And for those guys listening, I'm going to give you guys a little gift for free. If you actually stop hating women and you see them for the sad little pawns that they are, feeling sorry for them, and kind of just have this like nurturing, loving attitude towards them, not to where you're going to embrace them with open arms and marry them, but it's like, I feel bad for this poor child that never had a chance and got fucking played like an idiot. I'm going to let you guys in on a little secret. I have a little harem of like 3 to 4 women that literally, and they're all of legal age, by the way, but they look up to me like I'm their daddy. They literally, like, they come to me for love and acceptance and advice, and I can sleep with them anytime I want. I have a little group of women that, like, they know that they're confused, scared little girls who have been like played and fell for this feminist crap and got pumped and dumped. and they let me have sex with them whenever I want, and they appreciate me. Like, they appreciate that I don't hate them, and I let them be free because I know they were born to be wild. They were born to be free, promiscuous sluts. It's just the society. But I don't really judge them for it. I'm not going to commit to them. I'm smarter than that. But it's just like, if you ever need to talk, girl, I'm there for you. And, we can have fun. I can be like your free wild man. We can have a crazy sex-filled weekend and go do shit. And then I'll let you get back to your life. They fucking love that shit. I don't know if any of you guys do that, but I get the most respect and the most cooperation and the least amount of drama from them. I don't try to tie them down. I don't try to commit to them, but I don't hate on them and bash them either. It's just like I can be like that fun guy that you just come to.
Well,
when you
yeah, I have a little harem as well, but I'll tell you why it's possible for us. You're 22, right?
This month. Leo baby.
Yeah, so we're the same age. So I'll tell you why it's possible for us. And the difference is, it's good to talk about this, but I just don't want like pickup artist stuff in the MGTOW community. So you can talk about like why this happens and stuff, but once it starts getting into like, here's 5 tips on how to build your own harem, that's when it gets a little little too much. But I'll tell you why it happens for us. It's because you and I have nothing to offer except dick. That's what I've found. Because
pretty much.
I mean, I've had some girls try to baby trap me, for my genes, but I'm not fucking stupid, so that's not happening. But I can't offer them anything else except dick. I don't have the career to sustain them or a family. I don't have bling or fancy cars to flash around. I'm not offering commitment. I'm just a distraction. They're a distraction for me. I'm a distraction for them. It's a reciprocal relationship. We're both getting the same thing out of it. So it's a lot of poor guys. A lot of guys will find that like they get the most success with women when they're young and broke. And then when they get the career and they get the wealth, they find that women only want to date them. They don't want to have friends with benefits relationships or one-night stands. They don't want to be fuck buddies anymore. That's what men find once they get established, because women want different things when you have different things to offer. If all you have is a dick, then that's all she'll take.
I hear what you're saying, but I feel like on an even deeper level, you're selling yourself short a little bit. I can hear it in your voice. I can just tell by the way you speak. You're a good-hearted dude, as I am as well. That's why I can see it. But I can tell the women you deal with, you don't judge them. See, here's the thing. Both alpha males, both beta males, both rich guys, both broke guys, most guys who are good with women, most guys who are bad with them, they have a secret judgmental hatred towards them because they still, in a sense, view them as their equals. And they're like, why is my equal acting so badly? When you stop viewing them as your equal and you start viewing them as like scared little children, as I said earlier, you stop hating them and you want to just give love to them. You don't even want anything in return because they're too fucked up to give you anything. And you actually have a special place in their heart forever. It's not just that you have dick. That's great. And of course they want the dick, but they can tell that you're the one guy that just doesn't judge them and loves them and lets them be free. And that's how you secretly own a woman forever. Now, I'm not saying you can have her exclusively. Of course, a slut is going to do what a slut is going to do. She's going to get around. But you'll always have a special place inside of her to where you can actually have her whenever you want. So all these other guys that are going to be competing over her and buying her dinners and fucking all this shit, and I hate to take it in sort of a PUA direction, but in a sense, you're kind of like her pimp. Like you own her soul when you take that non-judgmental approach and you just love them and let them go.
Yeah, that's true. And that's also when you get to hear the best red pills. If she feels comfortable enough opening up to you, that's when you hear the shit that really starts to anger you. If you're not ready for that, I wouldn't do that. But if you want to like really understand female nature, if you want to spit red pills at 22, you need to make them feel comfortable and ready to confess their sins to you.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, yeah. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. But and of course secretly we are judging them, but they'll never know. We're just better at hiding it. But yeah, man, it could be like I did a video called They Always Come Back to Daddy. And when you have that sort of like daddy-daughter relationship with them, because most of these girls are looking for a father figure straight up. Most of them either didn't have a dad or they had a blue pill faggot dad. So if you can be that daddy for them, oh my god, bro, you'll own her forever. So but that's enough about the whole little harem. I don't want to take it too much in a fucking RSD Tyler direction.
Yeah, yeah. What what do you want to shape MGTOW into? Like, what do you think it should become? Because it is getting like a little bogged down in that um not hating women, just like being super overly critical, and it's good to analyze that, but you want to, you want to focus on the man. To go MGTOW, you have to understand women, but once you understand women, then what? There's not a lot of content out there that focuses on the the steps afterwards.
Want to know? I'm about to give you my whole game plan. If you want to know a secret, you want to know how you get men to change. You want to know how you get men to grow. Them
How?
straight up, straight up. You have to manipulate them. I manipulate my own audience. I'm not gonna lie. This is what you do. See, appreciate men. Men and women are actually more similar than they will like to admit. Human nature is human nature to me. And this is some real like occult, dark knowledge manipulation type shit. But I'll put it this way, bro. I'll give you an analogy. Let's pretend go to like some let's pretend you could go to a restaurant where everyone gets in and you just have to pay a couple dollars and like you get your little cheeseburger. Then let's pretend there was this like exclusive restaurant with a waiting list of like 3 years. And like in order to eat at this restaurant, you have to be like a rich, successful movie producer and have like a trophy girlfriend. And anyone else who's not that is not allowed at this exclusive restaurant. Which one are you going to find yourself thinking about nonstop, fantasizing about, wishing you could be a part of? The fucking Wendy's or the exclusive elitist group? So basically what I'm doing with my channel, a barrier, I'm going to reserve the best information for the people who are willing to really prove themselves to me. And that's not just by paying money. That's by the way they talk to me, the way they carry themselves. Like I said, I'm interested in starting a certain like MGTOW Akatsuki, if you will, of the best and giving them the best information. Everyone is going to get into this little secret group that I want to start. The agony and the anticipation of not knowing what you're missing is going to drive so many men crazy and want to force them to grow up. See, if you give them diamonds for free, they're not, don't give your diamonds to swine, right? Isn't that like the analogy? If you just give away the best information for free, people don't appreciate it. You have to make them chase. You have to make them work for it. And this is what makes men and women so similar in a sense. Women want to chase the top 1% of men, and men want to be like the top 1% of men also and have that top 1% of knowledge. So it's never going to be appreciated when I'm sharing the best information with the guys who want to be the best and the guys who don't give a fuck and just want a woman bash and be like, like that MGTOW gossip, that MGTOW junk food. You have to create a barrier. You have to create a filtering process. And that's going to force the guys who initially didn't want to be great to want it, because everyone wants what they can't have. So it's sort of like, I don't know if it's like a reverse psychology tactic, but it seems to be working very well. You just have to make it, put the knowledge on a pedestal. And I'm not saying this is going to work for everybody. It's, but it will definitely it will get more guys off their asses than previously to want to aspire to become great. And the reason I know this is because this is the strategy that my greatest mentor used on me, Or for everyone. I'm not saying every MGTOW guy is going to rise to the occasion, but a lot more guys will say, fuck, you know what? I want that. Like, I can't get that. I want to put in some work to get this new knowledge. And these guys are actually going to start improving every aspect of their life. It sounds like a mean spirited thing to do, but it'll actually jumpstart men in a way where they're going to start going out there and getting more shit in life that doesn't even have anything to do with me or MGTOW.
I mean, you're playing with fire. That's very dangerous. Playing with psychology, especially with the some of the men coming to MGTOW are really vulnerable. They and they're impressionable because they're, a lot of them are directionless. After they've been destroyed by their relationships, they're kind of aimless because they're struggling with conflating what they want reality to be, what they thought it was, and then what actually happened. So they've been led one thing, they've been led to believe one thing, and then the woman does the exact opposite. So now they're confused and vulnerable, but you don't want to take advantage of them. I see what you're saying though, like that's a nice little exclusive place for people who want to take self-improvement to the next level. I see that.
Yeah.
You just want to avoid that. I don't know if you saw the red pill coin scandal last year.
I heard about that too.
Yeah,
I heard about the scandals, the get rich quick schemes. Here's the thing though. I'm putting my money where my mouth is. I'm actually providing the value and the knowledge that I'm making people work for. And on top of that, here's another point. Just because you're awakened to how cold the world is and how mean these women are, and let's say you're an entry-level MGTOW, you're impressionable, like you said, right? You're one of these new impressionable guys. Contrary to popular belief, the last thing a man really needs, this might be what he wants, but this is not what he needs. The last thing men need is a safe little comfort zone. Temporarily, that's a good idea. But if you get too complacent, you'll find yourself just getting weaker and softer, and you'll become just like so many guys in MGTOW who are stuck on that level one, guilty pleasure, news clips and women hating videos, and they're not really growing. The world isn't getting any warmer. And just because you found a nice little comfortable cushion to rest on, that shouldn't be your new home. You should springboard up to greater heights and push yourself to reach new heights and not stay on just level one of MGTOW. And I mean, look at some of the biggest red pill guys. Look at guys like this guy, Entrepreneurs and Cars. He makes very good videos. This dude busted his ass to get where he is. He owns like a call center. He drives like Audis and BMWs. He's a fucking boss, right? But this dude like busted his ass to get where he is. If he just stayed in some little comfort zone, he wouldn't have gotten there. So I'm trying to propel guys out of that level one stage and turn them into their own bosses. It's dangerous to get complacent because your time on this earth is finite. You're not going to live forever. And you don't know if you're going to go to heaven. You don't know if you're going to go to hell. You don't know if it just goes black when you die. Do you really want to spend your whole life just in this sort of comfortable little bubble, just entry-level MGTOW information? And you don't really, you still kind of feel like a loser. Because I remember when I was in the red pill rage, I felt like a total loser because I'm like, okay, I'm not where I want to be in life. And I just found out that women are fucking scandalous and I'm miserable. Something to be proud of. At least have something you're working towards,
Yeah, I fully agree with that. It's very important to take the theoretical talk that a lot of MGTOWs have, a lot of what my videos are about, and to make it applicable to men's lives. So like, I can say all women are like that, but how does that affect you in your individual life? That's the step that we all need to take. Getting things effective into your individual life and building that. That it's very difficult to do. A lot of my more well thought out videos don't compete against the junk food MGTOW videos. So you have to balance it out, because if you just shove stuff in front of men, they're not going to listen. You have to ease them into it, but I think the most important part is making stuff applicable to each individual man. So yes, you're aware of the sexual dynamic in society today, but what are you doing with that knowledge? That's the most important part.
I see what you're saying. I guess the way I see it, man, I'm just more cutthroat than you. That's just my personality. That's just my approach. And like I said in my video, stop dealing with broke people. I'm willing to burn my channel to the ground if I have to. If I have to just carry a small group of men with me that really want to progress and really want to make their lives better, to me, that has more value than comforting a bunch of guys who want to just stay at the surface level.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I'm willing to pay the entire price of that,
Yeah, I mean, I also have a small portion on my channel that are really absorbing and taking knowledge from what I'm saying, but there's also a lot that don't. But it's all about that small window that a huge portion of the community has, you know, that potential. You know, they're in the junk food phase, but they could go to the next level. They could start reshaping their lives, reshaping their individuality, and it's about harnessing that potential and nurturing that, which is so important. And I think you do a great job of that.
I appreciate that. And you know, the reality, here's the thing, the reality is going to trigger most people because most people don't want to grow. Most people want to be comfortable and complacent. So I said, if I lose 70% of my audience, but I turn 30% of them into gods, is that really such a bad thing?
No, that's, you know, that's my mentality as well. You know, if you're doing it, if you're doing MGTOW for views and stuff, then I think you're doing it for the wrong reasons. You know, some of the best channels have less views than the most popular ones. I love Undead Chronic. I think he's great. I think he's very entertaining, but he isn't pushing a lot of that MGTOW philosophy.
Let's cut the shit. He's not making
it's
life better.
It's a lot of low effort shit posts, which are funny, you know, because I can't watch those videos on my own. I have to watch it with his commentary. But it's not, if all you're doing is Undead Chronic, you're not going to reshape your life. You know, you're going to be stuck.
Here's the thing, bro. Money into the equation, but money talks. Undead Chronic had like triple the subscribers that I had, right? He had like quadruple the fucking views that I had. He definitely had way more views than you. And his Patreon had $0 in it. He has literally way more exposure than me and you to have. $0 in it. Now, I'm not going to say exactly how much I'm making off Patreon, but I can tell you I'm making a hell of a lot more than $0 with literally a third of his subscribers. So what does that tell you? That tells you people value and are willing to pay for valuable information. Me or you, let's cut the shit. We could become the next Undead Chronic tomorrow. Me and you could become the next MGTOW 101 tomorrow. It's not hard, but it shows that it's quick to rise and then it gets taken down quickly. And then no one is willing to support you financially, meaning people don't really value your information. They're sort of pumping and dumping your videos for guilty pleasure. And they're not really giving you shit in return because deep down they're saying, I don't value you. When people don't put their money where their mouth is, they're saying, I don't really value your content. So when I saw that Undead Chronic's Patreon had $0 in it, that tells me people don't really give a fuck about Undead Chronic. They come to him to eat popcorn and just, you know, enjoy his material. And then it's like guilty pleasure, you know, level 1 MGTOW shit. And I'm like, dude, I don't want to be that. You know, I don't care if I only have 10 guys that really fuck with the shit I'm saying. If they're really taking shit to the next level, that's more valuable than being a fucking comedy channel that no one really gives a fuck about and will get taken down in 2 months. And then another one will come up who can do my job just as good as me. You know, I don't even, like, dude, me and you don't even stand out. If we start doing that, we're no longer valuable because we can easily be imitated. We can easily be copied.
Yeah, that's well put, dude. That's well put. Yeah, I mean, my Discord, I'm going to do like a little plug here, but the Discord server I made for the channel a couple weeks ago, it's already the second most populated Discord server behind TFM's. So there's, if you're making valuable content that can really change people, then you're going to attract the best of the best, you know, the best men. But that's where, I think that's circling back to what you said, where you're taking MGTOW out of the titles to reach a wider audience of men. I think that's, I think Undead Chronic's format and MGTOW 101's format of comedy and popcorn posts, if you will, I think that's a great way to reach out to other men, you know, because they can see the absurdity of the feminists, but they aren't aware that the feminists are projecting female instincts. You know, it's raw female instincts manifested on display for everyone to see. And I think that's a great way. If you're only doing that, that's when it becomes a little problematic. But like you said, it's about reaching out to men from all different backgrounds. And that's a great avenue. That's one of the great avenues to do that.
It's true. And you know, this is kind of something that kind of pisses me off, I guess, is that the fact that the channels like MGTOW 101 and Undead Chronic are the ones that soar to the top and do the best. And you know what? I'm about to say something really ballsy. And I love Sandman. I love his videos. I love his personality. But let's cut the shit, bro. Even Sandman, he delivers the same video every day. And it's not really, and LFA said this, by the way, too. LFA made a good point. it's not really super stimulating stuff. It's great level 1 content, but it's nothing that's really going to open your third eye and take you to like new heights and the next level. And the fact that so many guys are comfortable staying on that level 1, it kind of gives MGTOW a bad look, in my opinion. The fact that so many guys don't want to, I understand we're walking away from women, but why not excel in other areas? Why not become, I don't know, better in other areas? Why just stay on such a surface level and not be willing to progress? Isn't life about progressing? So, people give me shit for it. Oh, you're going to lose subscribers, or oh, you're going to lose this. Fuck it. I'd rather take a small group of men to a higher place than make videos that I'm not really proud of for views.
See, I'm conflicted.
Feel like I'm not really.
I'm conflicted because I agree with you, but then I see the value in the different types. I've made a couple videos that are pretty like high level. Like I've spent like 10, 12, 15 hours researching that stuff. I did like a historical MGTOW video. I did some analysis of South Korea. I did a Fermi paradox video, which is like scientific shit. That stuff is like the least viewed stuff on my channel. So there's a place for it, and it's important to have that. But it's also, I found it's a double-edged sword, because I want to make that stuff. That's where I'm most happy, is doing that stuff that goes to the next level. But if no one's going to see it, then I need to make it visible. So if I can make it visible by getting subscribers, by doing some lower level entry stuff, I think there's a place for all types of it. Sandman, I can never do videos every day like he does. He's crazy, and he's super dedicated, and he has a place. I don't listen. When I first found MGTOW, I binged the fuck out of Sandman. Like I lived with Sandman for a couple months, just dedicated. But he has a cycle. He repeats the same topics every couple months. So he has a place. There's new guys coming into MGTOW every day, and he's like the ticket master. He lets you into MGTOW. It's great that he does that. Now, you're right, if you stay in Sandman, if that's all you're being subjected to, you're going to be stuck. That's why everyone else exists. That's why, like Darius, his streams are awesome. I love him, but like if you're just stuck in Darius, then you're gonna have a lot of pent up anger. His is a great format for venting, for men calling in and just like talking truth and cutting the shit. So there's a place for every type of MGTOW, and I think it's just about having men diversify their content intake. That's the most important part.
So I guess I have to agree with you there. I guess I do.
Who's your favorite MGTOW?
I'm not gonna lie to you. My favorite MGTOW, my favorite YouTube content creators, I'd say my top 3 creators do not even use the word MGTOW or even associate with MGTOW, with the words. Like my favorite YouTubers are Mr. Jones, whose new channel is The California Kid, Warren Lance, who literally talks about like pimp knowledge, like he breaks life in the world down from like a pimp's perspective, and then maybe like guys like Coach Red Pill, Entrepreneurs in Cars. I guess Entrepreneurs in Cars is a MGTOW, but like other guys they understand the MGTOW philosophies, but they're just thinking even bigger picture shit at the same time. Too, I like watching guys who are on an even higher level than me. I feel like guys like Sandman, guys like Darius, even guys like you are sort of all on my level already. If we all just watch each other's content, how do we rise to new levels? If we're all just kind of on the same, like how Einstein says, like in order to reach one paradigm, you have to aim for an even higher one. That's just kind of the way I see it. So the people I watch and really study on the MGTOW level, they're on like a whole nother level altogether. They're like into like occultism and shit like that. So although I appreciate guys like your videos and Sandman and Darius, and I watch them, the guys who I really study are on some like next level shit. These are guys who have already proven themselves. They've already, built their empires. Those are the guys who I really like religiously watch,
So what do you think about the other way that the path could go? You can use that freedom to build wealth and power, But what about the other way where it's like just being a hermit, just being spiritual and going off
You
into
know,
the woods? What do you think
here's
about
the
that?
thing, bro. Who says you can't do both at the same time? I'm taking. What if I were to have all the success and wealth of a rich entrepreneur and on the surface look and act just like the hermit so I get the best of both worlds? What's to stop me from doing that?
Well, that's true, but I would just say that you can free yourself of the addiction of women, but it kind of your freedom is at stake if you get addicted to money. If you sacrifice your free time, if you sacrifice, and I'm not saying it's not good to hustle. Every man should learn how to hustle. That's integral to building character. But I'm just saying, like, if you become obsessed and if you start sacrificing things for the wealth, for the money, then it's kind of the same as sacrificing for the women.
Here's the
If
thing,
you're
though.
if you're putting it on the pedestal.
Here's the thing, though. What if I wasn't sacrificing anything? What if I was enjoying all of these things simultaneously and building them up all slowly? What if I was building my business very slowly at a rate that doesn't stress me out because I'm a minimalist, so I don't want to buy all the expensive shit, right? I don't want the Rolls Royce. I don't want the mansion to impress my wife. I just want to have peace of mind knowing that my bills will always be paid and I'll never have to work a job ever again. So what if I'm building my money slowly? What if I'm still dealing with women very casually and have my harem like we talked about, and I'm just enjoying the best of everything life has to offer, one little bite at a time, and building it up slowly, and not really getting too attached to any of it?
Well, I would say that's the best option.
Absolutely,
That's the best
absolutely.
option.
That's exactly what I do. I literally enjoy everything in life on a small scale. I deal with women maybe 1 or 2 days a week. I build up my multiple businesses very slowly. I don't overstress myself and aim for the top because I know what a joke it is when you're at the top. See, I've had the rare privilege of being friends with very rich, successful people who sacrificed their family life to get rich and sacrificed and stabbed people in the back. And it's a fucking joke, bro. Once you make it, it's a joke. It's nothing but people trying to like the guys who are flashy. I'm talking about. You have nothing but gold diggers trying to take your money. Nothing but people trying to sue you. No one's gonna give you appreciation once you make it to the top. See, I think so many guys have this fantasy. Once I get rich and powerful, it's like I'm gonna get invited to this private party, and everyone's gonna give me a pat on the back and give me all the love I never got and make me feel special. It's going to be like the end of Mario 64 where like Peach makes you a cake and tells you you're like the fucking hero. That's not what it's like when you become successful. All that happens is people start to envy you and hate you and plot your downfall. So even when I get rich, I'm going to be very secretive about it and I'm going to live like a hermit just like you, entrepreneurial hermit. And that way I can navigate through so many different societies. I could chill in the ghetto with my hood rat friends, and look and act broke as fuck while having $50 million in the bank. And then I could throw a suit on and go to the nice dinner party if I want to, but no one really knows what I'm doing. I'm very secretive about everything I'm doing. And that's how you can really enjoy everything life has to offer. You don't have to pick a side. You can have it all if you're smart.
Yeah, I mean, MGTOW is flexibility, and if you're not acting on that flexibility, you're not really utilizing it to its full potential. You just want to avoid the pit traps of being too attached to things, and I think that's a little like far off because I know a lot of. I mean, I'm not religious, but I do enjoy the the texts of Buddhism, and being detached from the physical world and physical material objects. But I also am also pragmatic, and I can realize, hey, a man needs an income to sustain himself and his lifestyle. So you can't just fuck around and say, I don't value money because I don't care about material goods. No, you need to feed yourself. So I think it's walking that fine line in between, like getting enough to have freedom and freedom in case of bad events in your life, but it's also not going too far overboard and getting too much.
And here's the thing. When you're smart and you know how this world works, and you know that the wolves are out to get you, you will start to hide your money anyway. So you're like if I get rich, I'm going to be forced to live like a minimalist anyway, because I don't want women coming after me trying to get pregnant to get child support. I don't want people trying to sue me. So I'm going to be forced to live like a hermit anyway and hide my wealth because of the way the society is. And that's actually going to force me to appreciate minimalism and to not get too attached to the money anyway, because I'll never really be able to show the money off anyway without paying the ultimate price. It's really just there for peace of mind, knowing that my bills are paid and that I'll never have to work a shitty job again. So when you take that approach, like I said, that's how you get the best of both worlds. You get the peace of mind that the money has to offer without getting too attached to it, because you know the second you start flaunting the money, you're going to become a target. So it's better to just live minimalistically, appreciate, the hermit lifestyle, while also having the peace of mind that the money can bring. Is that not the ultimate goal?
That is the ultimate goal of MGTOW, and it takes a village, to teach. It takes a village to teach one. So we all need to use all the sources on YouTube, because to get to that point for economic freedom, you also need the philosophy to get there, the dedication, the hustle, the independence. You need all these different things. The health. You need health on your path to financial freedom. If you're sitting there sacrificing your health for a paycheck, that's not going to accomplish anything if you're giving away your best years. So you need all these different things under the great umbrella of MGTOW that encompasses so many different topics. That's why MGTOW it should be essential for every man, but the way society is, it's never going to be given to men. Imagine if you were a kid in school and you got this fucking knowledge. It would change your life. You'd be on a different path. You'd be ahead of your path, but it's never going to be like that. So you just have to, what's the Bruce Lee quote? Absorb what is useful and discard what is not. There's plenty of stuff out there in the MGTOW community, and I love all the content creators. I'm subscribed to most, but there's stuff that becomes detrimental to your path. If you're stuck in the rage phase, if you're stuck in not being able to make a choice, the paralysis of choice. You have so much freedom, and if you don't know what to do with it, that's just as crippling as not having freedom at all. So you have to have direction and you have to have focus, and you can get these from all over the community. But ultimately, it all leads to that goal of being financially independent and free of the shackles of dependence on anything, physical or otherwise.
It's true. Very true. I guess the moral of what I'm trying to do is just show men that you can have it all. You can have everything life has to offer. You don't have to pick a side. See, just because you went MGTOW doesn't mean that you're not still brainwashed. This society has brainwashed and mind controlled us ever since we were born, ever since we went to public school, ever since we started taking Ritalin and ADHD medication and all this shit. Just because you've walked away from women doesn't mean you're not under heavy mind control. The stuff I'm trying to do is literally deprogram men 100% so they can literally become want to be. They can become the man they fantasize about being every day. Like I said, you can have it all when you know how to. But the guys who pick a side, I can tell they're still under mind control. When a guy says, no, bro, you can't fuck women, you can only go monk, or you can only be this guy, or you can only be purple pill, you can only be red pill, or you can't be rich because then people come after you, so you have to be poor. When people say stuff like that, they are still under mind control. You can have everything you want in life and learn how to do it secretly and learn how to navigate around the system. And literally like have your cake and eat it too. It's just a matter of, having the balls to go for it and being able to throw yourself in the unknown and chase what you want and find the loopholes around it. But people get comfortable just picking a side and playing it safe, and they miss out on a lot of things life has to offer,
Yep, I made a video about my MGTOW path, and I described because I have 3 different phases I go through throughout the year, and I got so much shit on that video, but Apology Man in chat says MGTOW is about going away from everything, and that includes, I would say, that would include going away from the opinions of other men. There's always going to be MGTOW who shit on you for your choices, especially those hardcore monks. And I don't shit on the monks at all. I've done monk mode. It's the best. It's awesome. But if you're putting people in a box to align with your choices, that's antithetical to what MGTOW is, because all of us choose our own path.
Right. The thing is, bro, let's cut the shit. Most monks secretly still want to get laid. They're just afraid to because they think, they will be punished for doing it. And to a degree, they are right. They will be. But if you're actually smart enough to really and figure out how to do things the secret way, like I said, you can have your cake and eat it too. You can get laid as secretly as possible. And I guarantee you, bro, if the majority of monks knew how to do this, they would abandon monkhood in a New York minute. Some of them actually do it because they really enjoy it and they believe in what they're doing and they like the peace of mind and, the simplicity. But a lot of them do it because they can't get laid. And if they knew, or they're afraid to do it, because they fear, repercussions. But if they knew certain occult knowledge of how to protect yourself from women, some of it is like guerrilla warfare, straight up. Some of it is manipulation.
It is. I made a video about the different types of MGTOW, and in that video, I included incels. And incels are not MGTOW, but men going their own way. Some are forced to. And if we can't acknowledge that, then it's ignoring the problem. A lot of men are forced to go their own way because of their sexual market value. And if you're stuck in that phase where you wish you had a woman, which is the incel phase, you're involuntarily celibate, you're not going to be happy, you're full of hate because you want what you can't have. But there's a very important difference between men who choose to go monk mode and men who are forced to go monk mode. And I have a massive amount of respect for the ones who choose to go monk mode. But the ones who have no choice in the matter, then it's about getting them to realize that they have opportunities available to them because of their low marketplace value. They're not going to be subjected to the traps and enslavement that the other men are subjected to. So what they do with that is all on them. But I have a question from chat about what your opinions are on NoFap.
No, I was just thinking about that today, bro, honestly. If you want my honest opinion, I think NoFap is pretty retarded. I've tried it. Just frustrate me. You weren't meant to not fap on a biological level. You were meant to have that release. And if you don't do it, it's going to come out at night like, wet dreams or whatever. So the semen was meant to leave your body one way or another. This whole like, I know fap and I hoard my power. And like I hear guys that a lot of guys are doing it, they're in reaction mode. So they're doing no fap to get attention from women. They think if I hold my seed, I'll become more powerful and women will notice me more. Okay, well, even if that was the truth.
Exactly it.
Even if that was the truth, which it's not. Point if you can't unload that seed. Like what's the fucking point? The truth is, NoFap has nothing to do with radiating energy and positive emotions, okay? I bust like 6 nuts a day, and every time I leave the house, I'm still getting tons of attention from women. I'm still getting tons of job opportunities because of the way I carry myself, because of the information I know, and because of the things I've put myself through to learn what I learned. I threw myself into the fire to learn how this world really works. And once I learned how it really works, I learned how to manipulate it into my favor. And not yanking your dick isn't going to get you there. It's a lot harder than just not yanking your dick. You got to go out and do crazy shit and put yourself in, dare I even say, life or death situations to really get a firsthand understanding of how this world works. If it was just as easy as NoFap, every guy would be a fucking millionaire and have a bunch of women on him because all he'd have to do is just not yank his dick for a week. And then like fucking Richard Branson would call him and want to do a multi-million-dollar deal with him. Just as like, bro, I can sense that you haven't released your semen in at least 7 days. You seem worthy of like doing a $1 million deal with, you are like an alpha male. Like, no, bro, no one notices that you're doing NoFap. No one can fucking tell. No one cares.
Yeah, I tried NoFap once when I was 18 or 19 and I lasted 7 days and then I got like the only wet dream I've ever had and it was fucking retarded. So I never went back to that. It's
retarded, bro. And
it is. I think it's retarded. I mean, it's not. I understand if you're doing it to get attention and like cheat the system and like that's stupid. If you're doing it free yourself of the validation of the female form. That's different, if you're trying to remove that. But if you're doing it to affect yourself biologically, like a life hack, that's kind of, I think that's fucking stupid. But the I've noticed that my libido has dropped a little bit since really starting the MGTOW channel, because I'm not, it's not, I can't put the same emotional connection into women that I used to do. So it's not as fulfilling. So I think you don't have to practice nofap. If you really swallow the red pill, you won't see them as attractive as they used to be. Obviously, if you have a good workout session and you need to go bust a nut, that's fine, but you're not going to be hooked to your phone watching porn all day if you've really swallowed the red pill and you have other things to do.
That's also true. But here's the thing. To bring up the fucking vegan shit again, but it's just the fucking truth. On an even deeper level than nofap and creating content to not think about women, your diet has so much of an impact on your sex drive and what you think about. Ever since I started doing the vegan thing, bro, my testosterone has fucking quadrupled. People were like, "Oh, bro, you're gonna turn into a soy boy." I don't eat fucking soy, but ever since I cut out like the meat and the fucking starch and the sugar and all this shit, I'm just pumping nothing but testosterone through, and I have all the masculine energy, but I'm not actually dependent on like women and fucking women. Like, my sex drive has always been high, no matter what I did. But I actually have more energy to just focus on the shit I want to do. See, a lot of your animalistic sex drive, believe it or not, is from your diet. When you eat, like when I used to eat a lot of meat, like I used to eat fucking steak every day, and all the hormones from that, all the antibiotics and the hormones that they put in the steak, and I would eat that. It was affecting me on an animalistic level, and you inherit the hormones from the dead animals you eat. So I would have thoughts about like fucking a lot. Like, you're eating animals, you start to think like an animal. I would have so many more thoughts about like masturbating and fucking women when I was actually eating flesh. And then when I stopped, I have all the testosterone and energy, but I can actually apply it to the shit that matters. So a lot of it is your diet, believe it or not, too, man. And that's why I want to start really doing videos about like diet, because if your diet is fucked up, bro, everything in your life is going to fall apart. That is the foundation of everything. That you are what you eat, So if your diet is fucked up, your head is going to be fucked up, and what you put out into the universe is going to be fucked up. You're not going to reach your full potential. And this is going to trigger a lot of people, because a lot of people aren't willing to do the work, a good diet, and make it to that next level. But that's just the fucking truth, man. The truth hurts. And only the people who are willing to do the work it takes to be who they want to be achieve their dreams. And everyone else leads a life of quiet desperation.
Yeah, that's a tough one, because I love meat. I'm a carnivore.
I love it too, but I just saw the difference when I put the meat down. I saw just the ridiculous amounts of energy and mental focus I had when I stopped eating it. I fucking love meat. Like, don't think I'm some environmental pussy who cares about like saving the cows. Now that I'm not eating the cows, you can kill every last one of them, because they have no fucking value to me anymore. But it's just the fucking truth, man. When I put that shit down, I had way more energy and way more focus. And like I said, I fucking love meat. I used to go to Outback Steakhouse, bro. I'd get the steak and lobster, and I'd dip the lobster in the butter. Like, holy shit, that was like fucking heaven on earth to me. But after a while, I started to become lethargic. I started to have what's called the itis, where you just have like this dir state in your mind all the time. And I started to just kind of become a fucking loser. And when I cut that out, suddenly I had way more energy. Suddenly I'm getting way more shit done. And dare I say, I'm attracting way more women. I look like this crazy wild man who's like lean and in shape and knows how to fuck and has tons of energy. And women pick up on that a hell of a lot more than they pick up on the fact that you haven't fapped in a week. So I hate to say it, bro, but a lot of it is diet. And part of the mind control, there's an agenda. They want you eating meat. They want you drinking fucking soda. They want you smoking fake weed that they injected with chemicals and sprayed with pesticides. And dude, like, people are under so much mind control. That's what they don't understand. Just because you go MGTOW doesn't mean that you're not under mind control in so many other aspects of your life. You're still getting pimped in so many other ways. You just don't know it. And being MGTOW is like step 1 of 20.
what do you think about MGTOW and politics? Do you think we could ever have like a MGTOW politician or something like that?
Because the people who run politics have a totally different agenda. I mean, well, actually, here's the thing. If it fits in with the master plan of the people who run, then absolutely. But you got to understand everything is going along a certain narrative. If you watched my video called Me Too as part of the plan, I broke it down how the powers that be, they're going to do whatever's best for them. So at this point in time, women pay taxes is what's beneficial. It's all about divide and conquer and a small group of people who are in power keeping their power. So if they can find a way to spin MGTOW by putting it in power to meet their goals and to oppress people even more, then absolutely they will do it. But if they can't, then they won't. It's like I said, bro, like this life is so much deeper than we think it is. The rabbit hole just keeps going and going and going. And just being an entry-level MGTOW is like barely digging an inch into the sandbox. It goes so much fucking deeper. I wish guys could understand that.
Yeah, well, I was just because there was this young millennial woman who won a seat in New York, and she's an outright socialist. So I mean, if she can get support like that, I mean, MGTOW is apolitical, and we can't save the society. We can't turn it around. I'm just, it's just like hypothetical. Like, what if, because if I got doxxed and blacklisted from a career, then I probably would maybe just run, and have some MGTOW guys vote. Who knows? Like, that's not going to happen, but I'm just saying, like, what if?
I mean, bro, you got to understand the political system is all rigged. Democrat and Republican are just two wings of the same bird. All of these people behind closed doors are friends with each other and laugh and joke about how badly they're pimping all of you. It's not like fucking Obama and Trump really hate each other. Behind the scenes, the Rockefellers and Trump and all these people are friends, and they're all moving towards one radical change. The plan that is in motion has been in motion for the last like 100 years, 150 years, and nothing you or me do is going to change that.
Yeah, I fully agree at the high levels. You could do something locally in a small district, but as far as like high level stuff, high level seats, it's not going to happen. I was just thinking out loud.
And make no mistake, bro. Channel or my MGTOW channel ever got really big and we really started influencing people on a mass level, known public figures, and we were really creating a shift in the societal norms and really just creating like a revolution, we would literally be shot dead, get whacked straight up. If you really became big, look at all the people in history that almost created a change. What do they all have in common, bro?
You all got assassinated.
Dead. Fucking Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, Bob Marley, John Lennon, John F. Kennedy. All these people had powerful positions. They had big voices, and they wanted to shift things in a new direction. And look where they are now. So don't think that as a MGTOW you would be
What's your contingency plan in case your channel gets taken down? Did you think about that yet?
I don't even give a fuck, bro. I save all my videos to a flash drive. I save them on my computer. I would just create a new channel like Zabuza MGTOW or fucking Vegeta MGTOW, and I would just upload new videos, upload my old ones, do live streams, continue to have my secret little group that I give knowledge to. And that's another thing about the sort of MGTOW super group that I wanted to put together. I wanted to even have like meetings and hangout sessions in real life with the people who are part of the group. But bro, and you and 10 other guys, right? We all used our connections to further each other's lives and make each other's lives better. And we all achieve our dreams and we all become, rich and successful, but we're all secretive about it, right? And we use our knowledge to, influence each other, and we can do whatever we want. The world is our oyster. If we want to have like a secret MGTOW summit in like Dubai, we can all fly out there on a private jet because we used each other's connections to help each other get where we want to get. It's like one hand washes the other. Like, this is what people in power do. This is what the Rockefeller types do. This is what, people do. So that's really, I guess really that's kind of like my little dream, is to have like my own little secret group of guy friends who literally are just killing it in life, and we all have the freedom to do whatever we want to do, and no one can tell us what to do, and we're free in pretty much every sense of the word,
Yeah, I mean, I imagine that's why you do the call-in shows. That's why I do the Hermit Hangouts, and I started the call-in shows because I really enjoy interacting with the MGTOW community, talking to these guys, because you can't have these discussions in real life. This is where you have it.
Imagine if on an even bigger level, imagine if you had a guy who called into your show, an entrepreneur making six figures. He connects you with the right people who help you get started with your own business. Now you're making a great living because you met this guy. Now when you and him, you meet in real life, you become friends, you hang out with each other. You have like a MGTOW friend in real life who also like made your life better and made you more powerful. And then you two guys meet six other guys who are doing the same thing. And before you know it, all of you are making boss moves together. Like, isn't that not like pretty fucking amazing?
I mean, it'd be so awesome if we could have MGTOW conventions and stuff like that, but it's so dangerous, dude. I mean, if you're having a filtering process with like paid paywalls, then I could see it working. But if it's just like an open MGTOW convention, that's so incredibly dangerous. But
it's not, and here's the thing. It'll have to be sort of a secret society because, like I said, like we all know, the society we live in is very anti what me and you do and what we preach. But if you have like, I don't know, 8 to 12 guys who are all accomplishing their goals and they used each other's connections to be successful, and they hang out and they make money together and they fucking live a boss lifestyle and no one knows who they are and no one knows what's going on, and they have just sort of their own little empires, is that not like a fucking dream come true? And then those guys can drop some of their knowledge to other MGTOW guys who can then create their own little groups, who can create their own little empires and pass that down. And before you know it, a lot of guys in MGTOW prospering way more than they would be if they were just on that surface level, fucking watching like little news clips and laughing about, oh, today a feminist made an ass of herself on TV.
Yeah, I mean, it's important not to separate everyone. We still have to have that unifying message, but there are different types of men who are inclined to different types of content. I have a question from Joel Bello. He says, are there any potential negatives now that MGTOW has started its course towards the mainstream? Censorship, another cuckoning, what are the risks?
Okay, was that for you or for me?
For both of us.
All right, you want to go first, or you want me to go first?
I mean, we hit on that a little bit early on, but I would just say it's the dilution of the message, because MGTOW will go mainstream. Have no doubt about that. It's going to be mainstream. Now, the thing is, they're going to do hit pieces. They're going to misrepresent what we say. They're going to take clips out of context. I'm kind of nervous. Like, what if they make like a MGTOW montage clip on like CNN or something, and they show just like little clips from Sandman and TFM, you, or maybe even me? That'd be crazy. Just the worst. Like, they're just taking like things out of context. So that's gonna happen regardless. But that's not the worst thing, because men will go look at MGTOW. They'll do their own research, and they'll find the message themselves. They can think for themselves. I know a lot of men found MGTOW that way, on the forum, at least on the subreddit. People were talking shit about it. They go look it up, and then, holy shit, MGTOW is awesome, and then they're a part of the community. The trouble is where they conflate MGTOW with incels. We had that incel terrorist attack a couple months ago with the truck in Canada, I think it was.
Yeah. Yep.
And there were a couple articles conflating incels with MGTOW. And that's where it gets dangerous, because they can deem MGTOW as terrorism and shut it down that way, as an excuse to shut down all free speech. Because when they shut down MGTOW on YouTube, they'll say, hey, this is philosophy, this is economics, this is politics, we're not talking hate speech. But then if they have the MGTOW brand, and now the MGTOW brand is a a threat to national security, that's how they get rid of MGTOW completely all at once.
Absolutely. And a fucking lunatic, but that's one of the reasons why I was interested in creating sort of like my own little secret super group, because if they do crack down on MGTOW and the whole thing just gets taken down, you know, because YouTube is the biggest platform and anything that has to do with MGTOW gets taken down and you can just no longer voice your opinions. If we had used the time we had while we were on here to actually make connections and build our own little super groups, even if everything got taken down, well, hey, at least you got something out of it in your personal life to where you made some friends and you all used your connections to make each other's lives better. So even though you sort of lost, you know, your free voice or whatever, you didn't walk away completely empty-handed.
Yeah, I have a comment from JD, and it's kind of making me understand your point of view. Underground is better, or it will get diluted. I agree with that. It's important
Definitely.
to have that message maintained, you know, the real MGTOW stuff. And if you have to do that through different avenues, as long as it's maintained, people in chat just want to know like what is going to be free and what's going to be paid on your channel.
Okay, so I'm always going to do like, you know, videos with good knowledge, like, you know, 10, 20-minute videos, even like hour and a half long live streams. But I'm going to have content that's not even going on my YouTube channel, like maybe 1 to 3 hour programs where I just go into very sort of occult information that I wouldn't even put on YouTube. And I'm going to sell that information privately, like on a one-on-one basis to, you know, certain, I guess, clients of mine. Like I'll have a threshold where like, I'm going to sell them like as units. And let's say I have a program and it's $500, right? Let's say it's a program on, let's say it's not even necessarily like a MGTOW program or a woman program. Let's say it's like, dare I say, a program on curing diseases you have. You know, not everything I'm going to be doing is MGTOW related. I'm going to go into making every aspect of your life as near perfect as possible. Let's say I have a program that's $500 on that. I won't release it until like 50 units are sold, right? And then I'll email that program to each person privately. And once the threshold is met, I will release that program. I'll always release videos like I do now. I'll always do live streams. But I want to have an even deeper level of knowledge that most people just can't handle. Most people will reject it even if they heard it. And only a very small group of people would see the value in that information and be willing to pay for it. It's hard at that information too, you know? And those are the people that are going to get my unfiltered information because they're actually really willing to dig for it, you know?
Yeah, I don't think people realize the level of censorship. It really is book burning because TFM got his channel taken down. I think it was twice recently. They took it down. I think once last year and then earlier this year. That's over 1,000 videos just vanished. You know, that's thousands, probably tens of thousands of hours of work just gone. And if we don't have backups for that, it just shows how vulnerable we are. Excuse me, for the censorship, because people don't understand the amount of work that goes into it. You know, to make like a popcorn video, that still takes work. And if people aren't prepared for that censorship, I know some of the YouTube MGTOW channels are prepared, but a lot of them aren't. And I hope people like Sandman have backups because that's a lot of content that will eventually just be wiped off. So,
and that's the thing, bro. We're fucking powerless on YouTube. Like I said, our shit can get taken off overnight. So if I'm doing my own thing on the side, you know, sending information to clients that's not even on YouTube, emailing it to them, you know, building connections in the real world through people I've met through MGTOW. So when the ship does finally sink, I've created my own little network of MGTOW guys and I give them top-notch information and we all sort of help each other in real life as well. So it's like you get something out of it. You build something out of it because You know, like I said, like you've said as well, it's very possible that overnight the word MGTOW, anything related to that, just gets wiped off YouTube. And then you're going to kind of be left there with your dick in your hand because you didn't really do anything when you had the platform. You didn't really make any connections when you had the platform. You just enjoyed the MGTOW gossip videos instead of the real information. And you didn't take the time to build your own little group. So now you have nothing. You know, this free speech and this voice we have on YouTube is a privilege that very soon may be taken away from us with it while you have it, because you're probably not going to have it forever.
I have a question from chat, and it goes back to something I was thinking of yesterday from Agent Badass. What about if I found out how to prevent old aging permanently? What if we could outlast our enemies or those trying to keep us blue-pilled? And I was thinking yesterday, there's going to be a great purge coming soon. Even if there's not a civil war or a recession or anything like that, the amount of obese people in America, they're going to be dying off all around the same time, you know, because they're all equally unhealthy. So you're going to have hundreds of fat people, maybe even thousands, dying every day around the same time period. So it's really going to filter out a lot of people. So that's just, not being obese is a great way to outlast the blue-pilled people. But you also, if you incorporate healthy diets, it gives you more energy, you know, more energy to fight back, you know, maybe make your own videos, or maybe even just accelerate your lifestyle and accelerate that economic plan you have. What do you think, Itachi?
I mean, I don't really see the value in that, honestly. I mean,
well, just being vegan, like being vegan puts you ahead of, I'm not a vegan. I've never done vegan stuff, so I don't know really, like I can't speak to that, but if you're feeling healthy and if you feel like you have more energy, that puts you ahead of everyone else on the plantation. You know, that guy going to work 9 to 5, 5 days a week, and then coming home to a nagging wife. He doesn't have time to prep his meals. He doesn't have time to exercise. He doesn't have time to take care of himself. So just going MGTOW gives you so much by default. And one of those things is health. And if you learn how to focus that and really take care of your health, it puts you ahead of, you just naturally outlast these people.
After that, you know, so here's the thing. Okay, you get healthy, right? But that's not enough to really stay ahead of the so-called competition or to get what you want. That will create a foundation to where now you're healthy enough to do it. But the question is, how are you going to do it after that?
I don't know. I mean, it's hard to see too far into the future, but I mean, I don't know. These people are very unhealthy and even mentally unhealthy to a huge degree. How much of the country, just the US, because we're both in the US, how much of the country is obese, hooked on social media and on pharmaceuticals? Like, that just knocks out a huge portion of the population. Like, even if one of the men, because women aren't the only fat whales out there, okay? Like, men are equally as obese in America and on pharmaceuticals. So even if men found MGTOW, would they even be able to really think about it? Because their minds are not their own. You know, they're on antidepressants. They're off in la la land, and it really,
true.
It's tough to fight that, because you have to not only fight the conditioning. That's where I think the reaction videos that Undead Chronic was doing are so valuable, because you're subjected to this nonstop. You know, you're on the bad diets, you're on the regulated food with chemicals in it, and then you have the fucking mainstream media shoving this shit down your throat, you know, and it's all over the place. So if we can fight back in any little way, that's
man, and this is the realization I've come to, and this is really the main reason why I've taken the approach I've taken. I've realized most people are damned, okay? Most people are too stupid and obese and fucking brainwashed to even understand the MGTOW information, even if they did get their hands on it, right? Most people couldn't even handle it, even if it got out to them. On top of that, the guys who were smart enough to understand what MGTOW is and to want to become a part of it. But guess what? 70 to 80% of them are too dumb to even take it to the next level and actually use that information to make their lives better. 70 to 80% of those men just want to be on the gossip thing and, you know, the MGTOW junk food phase and the level 1 shit. They don't really want to use this information to build their power and make their lives better and live a happier, healthier, freer life. They've been given something amazing, and it's going to require some legwork to actually turn it into something. Do that either. So really, how much better are they than the fat slobs who are brainwashed, who don't even know what this information is?
I have a good question from chat, and I don't know your opinions on this. What would your ideal lover bot look like? So, what's your opinion on sex dolls?
I don't buy a sex doll because I've been fucking women, to be honest. As much as I don't like commitment and I will not get married and I won't have kids in this country, we cannot deny that when you are around a feminine woman, that is, a feminine girl who's actually feminine and girly and submissive, that's very intoxicating for a man, and that feels very
saying like, I don't want to spend $2,000 if it's cost
Me
me
neither.
nothing to go get plates.
Yeah. Yeah, if they want to sponsor me and give me one for free, sure. But I don't see the value in a sex doll enough to go spend my hard-earned money on it. Real thing for free.
Do you think it's creepy though? The dolls? Because a lot of them do
I
look
think
kind
they're
of creepy.
creepy?
Yeah, because in my opinion, the only ones that look decent are the Asian ones, because Asian women kind of look doll-like already. So it's the uncanny valley is not as wide with the Asian dolls, but some of the white women dolls, they look fucking terrible. Like, they look creepy as fuck.
You know, one of the reasons I'm kind of hesitant to use sex doll is because I don't want the mailman delivering the sex doll to my house and like knowing I'm the guy who ordered the sex doll. It's like, yeah, bro, I'm here to deliver your sex doll. Like, I don't want to be that guy like in my apartment complex that like ordered the sets doll. And because like when you order packages, they send them to the front office and then they send them to you. It's like, I don't want them all knowing like I'm the guy who ordered the fucking sets doll. Like I'd be kind of embarrassed. Like I'd have to find a secret way to get it. Like have the sets doll sent to a trap house and then go to the trap house and pick up the sets doll like at 3 a.m. and like drive it home and like sneak it into my apartment late at night. Like I'm kind of embarrassed to like be known as the guy who owns a sets doll, you know?
I mean, if you don't give a fuck about what they think, because those people who are laughing at you, they're stuck on the plantation, you know? So I don't know who gets the last laugh, the guy, the simp, or you who's free, you know, take it out of the closet, pump it, and then move on with your day. But
maybe that's just something I still need to work on. Who knows?
Yeah, but you never know what the future holds. Like the rate of acceleration of technology means these dolls can look totally different in the next 5 years. So,
well, you know, maybe if it really evolves, maybe I'll consider it. But as it is now, they don't really seem that evolved to me. They still look like fucking dolls, you know. They don't really look. It doesn't seem personal. And I've heard from guys who have sets dolls, it's a very emotionless, hollow experience. It's fun physically, but it's just not the same. It's just not as fulfilling, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say otherwise. I will say that thing I experimented with, it was pretty awesome just to like whip it out, do it, and then go on with my day. You know, it was a lot easier than the logistics of setting stuff up. But anyways,
why didn't you just stick to that? Why didn't you just keep fucking that torso thing and never talk to a woman ever again?
Because like it's loud and you know it's yeah. I don't want to get into the specifics of it, but it wasn't bad, you know. If I didn't have plates at the time, I would have invested. So I'll just say that. Like, it's easy now when we're young, but I can totally see like when you get older, and maybe even you, Karama, when you get older and more wealthy. Going back to what I was saying at the beginning of the stream, you might find it tougher to get plates because they might want more. You know, they might want a relationship. They won't put out. They'll put out for the young buck who doesn't pay for dinner. He just fucks him, but they'll save themselves for the guy who wines and dines them, and they might not be as open to sexual interactions because they feel that they can take something from you. So if people find out you have money, or when you get older and it's naturally assumed that you have an established base, because a lot of younger girls go for older guys because of that, because they can take care of them versus the chads at the college. So maybe you find that when you get older, it's easier just to get a doll.
That's true, though. Here's the thing, bro. Here's the thing. You're putting yourself in a box again, though. You're putting yourself in a box of once I hit a certain age, women are only going to come after me because they think I have money. I have friends that are in their late 20s and early 30s that are fucking 19-year-olds like crazy the first time they met them. They don't appear to have a lot of money. They don't appear to have anything. They appear to have dick just like a 21-year-old, and they have personality, you know, and they know how to manipulate them for free. They're getting everything they want out of life for free. They don't have that mental limiting belief that once I hit a certain age, I have to start paying for sex. If you believe that, then yeah, that will become your reality. But if you say, dude, I'm just going to tell this girl I don't have shit, I don't give a fuck, I'm here to have sex and chill, I could be fucking 55 and do that.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. It's just a lot harder for older men to find plates. You know, the ones that do find plates, they look good, they're healthy, they're fit. But I mean, the ones I've talked to, it just seems like eventually those women, they start out as friends with benefits and they start trying to weasel their way into a relationship. But going back to what you were saying earlier, I have a question from Joel. He said, could psychological theories help further MGTOW in any way?
I don't really know what he means by that.
Yeah, it's pretty vague. Maybe just going back to like what you were saying earlier with the restaurant, like psychological theories like that. It does play a part, you know, like one of the most popular ones is clickbait. You know, if I put the word women in the title, or if I put a woman in the thumbnail, it's guaranteed to get way more views. So that's using psychological manipulation to help MGTOW, you know, because I'm trying to help you, but you won't click on the fucking video unless it has something
Yeah.
that
And
clickbaits
what
you.
does that say about most MGTOW if you have to manipulate them to get them to take what's good for them? A lot of them really aren't that fucking bright. 20 to 30% of them are worthy of teaching. 60 to 70% of them decided to just stamp the word MGTOW on them and keep being a fucking degenerate piece of shit.
Yep, it's pretty frustrating. It's pretty frustrating.
No.
I've seen
You
that.
just
I've seen that in
you're
my
afraid.
career. I'm being a teacher. You know, you can't help everyone. Once you understand that, you can move on. You can't get worked up about it. You can't help every student. You know, you just got to reach the ones who are listening.
Absolutely. The only difference is I'm not afraid to trigger the ones that aren't afraid to listen, that aren't willing to listen. To me, they're worthless. To me, if you're just going to come waste my time, then fuck you. Get off my channel. I'm only interested in helping that 20 to 30% that are actually, you know, here to be serious and not waste time. I don't see the value in being sensitive and catering to the ones that want to stay on a mediocre level. I guess that's just the difference between me and you.
Yeah, I mean, you have more experience with the live stream, so I can see that you got fed up with the trolls. Maybe I'll get to that point if I keep doing it. I would just say my philosophy is that there's three types of people: people who learn from observation, people who learn from experience, and people who learn from nothing at all. They don't learn at all. So the people you're interacting with, they haven't experienced it yet. You know, they're the ones who think they can find a woman out there. So it's it is annoying to like repeat yourself often, but I see potential in that eventually maybe they might come around, and if not, then it's good to interact with them and debate them because it provides a point of reference for other guys. You know, I posted like a 45-minute video of an argument with a dude about women's voting rights. The guy went in circular arguments for 45 minutes. Obviously, didn't really think about his position. Was it a waste of my time? For me, yeah, it was. But other guys may stumble upon that, you know, and maybe they're in his shoes, and it provides an outlet to learn something. So I think you can always learn something from everybody, even what not to do, how to avoid their failures. But I see what you're saying with the trolls and the people who are stuck there, who make the conscious choice to avoid the content that would help them.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I have a question from Master Minos. How did you deal with the red pill rage or depression?
Like I said, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Really nasty, like 2-year period, where I would just emulating Tony Soprano from The Sopranos. If any of you guys have seen the show The Sopranos, the mob boss Tony Soprano, he's like this big fat guy, and he's just so engulfed in consuming and power and fucking women and like junk food and buying shit and materialism. And he like all of it eventually is his downfall at the end. But like that's what I was doing. I was so on the dark side. And finally one day I just imploded, attempting to make the world a better place. Like, why should I even really be here? Like, I started to see that you get so much more pleasure out of giving to people than you do from taking. See, a lot of people who listen to me and who listen to us talk, they think I'm this like asshole PUA tyrant who's here to like fuck people out of their money and, you know, laugh behind the scenes. That's not what it is at all. I get so much pleasure from giving you guys content. Even people who don't pay me, I get so much pleasure when I read the positive comments, when I read, bro, Itachi, this video changed my life. This, you know, whatever you just said in this video, I'm applying it and it's making my life better. That makes me feel good. That makes me feel like I'm serving a higher purpose, like my life matters, like I'm contributing and functioning on a higher level consciously. And that was kind of my rage awakening. I'm like, you know what? I have more fun just living minimalistically, not being this tyrant, and just loving the people around me and watching them love me in return because I'm making their lives better. That's what I'm here to do. All it is. You know, I present it in a way that filters out the shitheads, people that actually are serious about it. It's nothing but love and it's nothing but positivity. And anyone who works with me, anyone who has a one-on-one session with me where we talk on the phone or we go back and forth in a chat, it's nothing but positivity and me being there to help them. I'm only ruthless and hard on the people that are there to waste everyone's time and contaminate what we're trying to do, because they deserve completely. But for the people that are respectful, for the people that are humble and willing to learn and listen, it's nothing but love and positivity with them.
Yep, I made the channel as a way to deal with it, because it was spilling over into the real world, and I was having arguments all the time with people, and I'd realized that I can be more effective reaching out to other people, and it also, because I'm at different phases, like I'm over the red pill rage, so I can help others get to that place, but I'm also learning as I'm going along with other subjects like economic freedom and stuff like that. So I'm still learning along with my subscribers, my viewers. But as far as like women's nature and stuff like that, the basic stuff of MGTOW, I'm well past the red pill rage. I focused that energy into other things, you know, the YouTube channel, working out, going to school, just being productive, you know. If you let it fester, if you let that negative energy fester, then it just bogs you down. It is valuable energy, but you have to learn how to use it. You have to harness it. If you just let it sit there, it'll eat away at you. But if you waste it, if you just let it sit there, then you're not going to reach that full potential, because it is valuable.
And I think that just goes to show that on a higher level, everyone on this earth was meant to contribute something, and you're not really fulfilling your biological purpose unless you're making the world a better place than it was before you got there. Otherwise, giving wouldn't feel so good.
Yeah, like so I'm permanently demonetized off YouTube, so I don't get any revenue at all except from the Patreon. But like one of the other MGTOW YouTubers was telling me, like, dude, monetize your channel. You can make some good stuff. You're getting good views. And I'm like, oh shit, I didn't realize that's what they pay. But then I'm like, dude, once I found out I was permanently demonetized, like, it's like, I don't care. Like, I get paid in the comments, you know? I'm already free. I'm off the plantation. So I'm good. If my MGTOW channel got deleted and I was off YouTube, I'm fine. I can take care of myself. So the comments I get is just icing on the cake, you know? It's just a little reward that I get that keeps me going.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's the truth. That's the truth.
I have a question from Red Robin, and I answered this in a previous video on a call-in, but I didn't have the setup, so the audio is terrible, so I didn't upload it. So I'll just answer it again. Question: if a man in a feminist country like Sweden or Canada wants to live a patriarch lifestyle, would it be a good idea to just convert to Islam since they tolerate Muslims so much? And I would say you're not looking at all sides of the coin. Yes, Islam has male authority. Yes, it has the pimpan, as TFM says. You know, not all Islam societies, but most of them keep their women in check. You're seeing with Saudi Arabia, they're allowing women to drive. That's just the first step. But I would say you're not looking at the other side. There's male authority, but there's not male freedom. They don't tolerate bachelors. They don't. So you're still expected to go get a wife and go provide. So yes, you have male authority. You don't have that freedom that MGTOW gives. So if you're going to go under Islam, you're going to go in there knowing that you want to be a slave. And for those guys who still want wives and children, it'll take a long time to get over that. And you might not even get over it ever. But just knowing that, just being honest with yourself, that yes, saying to yourself, yes, I want to be a slave. Yes, I want to be a wage slave. You know, back in the day, before the divorce laws were so flexible, you could go get a wife, you could provide, you could have a happy, stable family life. But you're still exposed to female nature. Who's to say she won't cheat on you? Who's to say she won't nag at you? Because she will. So if you're going to go down that road, just be honest with yourself and say you want to be a slave, you know? You can still be a masculine father, a masculine husband, but you're still going to be a simp in some way. You know, alphas and betas are situational. Alphas always get tied down. Like the guy at the gym, like I'm not going to say this about LFA, just like guys who are like LFA's body type, you know, the super masculine dudes. They're alphas in appearance, but they're still slaves. They just get more options for plantations to choose from, you know, versus the beta provider guy who can only offer his career and stability. He only has a limited set of options. The alpha has more options. He's still going to be a slave, you know? So as long as you're just honest about that, then you can go into Islam. I would say, no, don't do that because A, they have a very strict sense of outsiders and infidels. So that'd be a dangerous road to go down. But even if you converted, you're going to be a slave. You're going to be a simp. So if you're a reactionary MGTOW, if you're using MGTOW to survive in today's gynocentric society, that's perfectly fine. You know, I'm not disputing that. That's a perfectly rational cost-benefit analysis. But you're not going to find happiness. You're not going to find happiness because you're using MGTOW as a reaction. You want society to be different. And if you keep thinking like that, you're never going to reach that peace of mind because you're always wondering what you could have had instead of what you already have. So don't be a simp and don't go onto restrictive religions like Islam or even Christianity. They still want you to be a beta provider.
Yeah, but I think what he was trying to say, bro, is I think he wants to be a provider. That's why he wants to convert to Islam. He would get pleasure from having a wife and family, as a lot of us would in a healthy society. And he's trying to use, he thinks if he goes under Islam, he will be protected to do what he actually wants to do. And the thing is, he won't if he's in a society that still gives women the legal power. See, if you convert to Islam in the Middle East under Sharia law and marry a woman there, now you have the full power. Yes, now you are the man. You can run the household. You have the law on your side. I think that's more of what he was asking. And on top of that, actually because I was born a Muslim. If you actually convert to it, they actually are pretty accepting of outsiders. Like if you go to the mosque and you're let's say you're like a white American Muslim from America and you're in like Dubai at the mosque, you're at like an English speaking mosque and you start talking to some of the Arab guys like, yeah, you know, I just moved here from America. I'm really getting into this Islam. They will actually show you the ropes. They will invite you to their houses. They'll let you meet their families. It's actually a very open religion. And they're in my experience, at least, bro, they're very welcome of newcomers. It's not as cutthroat as you think it is.
So I have two questions. What's that phrase? Because I've only read like half the Quran, but there's a phrase where Muslims lie to non-Muslims as a way of like subverting them, and it has like a specific word. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Actually, I don't.
It's
like I said.
Yeah, it's a specific phrase that any outsiders, like I'm sure they accept converts. I'm just saying like non-Muslims, they have a strict code that you're two-faced essentially. But what are the traditions regarding women in Muslim from your experience? Like, what did they expect you to do?
At the women to do, or what did they expect me to do with the women?
What did they expect you to do with the women?
You don't have to get married by any certain age. There is no pressure as a Muslim man to get married. My uncle is like 42 or something, and he just got married for the first time like 3 months ago to a woman that was like 27. The men kind of have the freedom to do whatever they want, in my experience. The women are the ones who have to actually conform and get judged if they don't meet their expectations. Like a divorced woman in the Middle East is viewed as like worthless. She's viewed as like damaged goods and like useless, and like no man wants to really marry her after that. The men out there actually seem to get away with murder. They can do whatever they want. From what I've seen, my dad do, from what I've seen my grandparents do, my granddad. I mean, they can have multiple women, they can cheat, they can do all kinds of fucked up shit and get away with it. The women are really the ones who have to like be on top of their shit. Otherwise they get demonized.
Where, what country is your uncle in?
I'm talking about.
The uncle that got with the 27-year-old, is he an American Muslim?
No, he is 100% Lebanese. He does not speak any English. He went over to Iran, I believe, or Iraq, and he found like a 27-year-old girl, married her. Her parents bought them a house when they got married as a wedding gift. So over there, the woman's family, if she's from a good family, will help and take care of the husband because they want to see the marriage last. So good luck seeing that in America, by the way. But her parents bought them a house as like
Yeah,
a
so
wedding
so they have
present.
the traditional dowries. That's nice.
And he's not even a successful dude, bro. Like he found a very attractive 26, 27-year-old girl to marry him. And he's like a fucking like mechanic at the airport or some shit. And he has this loving, submissive wife, and her family bought them a house. And he's like an average Joe. Like, imagine how hard you'd have to work in America, even remotely close to that. You'd have to be like a fucking CEO to find that. Over there, it's like average for them to have a decent submissive woman whose family looks out for them. That's like average over there.
So
Like
why
he
did you
wasn't
leave
even so.
Islam?
What'd you say?
Why'd you leave Islam?
Born in America, and following Islam in America is kind of pointless because, like I said, the gynocentrism, the government, that overpowers really any religion in this country. If I was over there, maybe I would have been practicing it, but centric hellhole I grew up in, the only religion seems to be money, and no, there's no unity. There's so much temptation at every twist and every turn. Even the Arab girls who like I have stepsisters that are Lebanese. They were raised by Lebanese parents, but they grew up in America and they turned out just like American whores because you kind of are the society you grow up in, you know?
Yeah, all those religious girls just do anal sex, to keep their virginity.
Sets. I mean, this is America, so the pressure to be a slut overpowers their religious upbringing, you know?
I have a question from Dado Pepe Panda. Did you ever try to red pill your friends? Any of your personal friends in real
Asking
life?
me or you?
Yeah, you.
Okay. Well, the funny thing, bro, the only friends I have were kind of like born red pill. I mean, they see American women for what they are. They pump and dump them. They don't believe in love. They don't trust women at all. They're kind of just savages. Like my friends are just more savage versions of me that aren't even willing to entertain the idea that a woman will one day love them. They're just so dead set on the idea that they're all whores and they can't be trusted. And I mean, growing up in America, I don't blame them because that's pretty much all you see here.
Home gyms or physical gyms? Home workouts or gym workouts?
I do home workouts. I'm not a member of a gym.
Yeah, same. It's so much easier and it's actually cheaper if you have the space.
Yeah, because when I want to work out, I want to do it right now. I don't want to get in the car and drive 30 minutes. And by the time I get to the gym, I don't even want to work out anymore, you know?
White Blaze asks, what do you think of the MGTOW that pander to any woman that say anything remotely supportive of our stances on MGTOW channels?
So the women that
so
that claim to support MGTOW?
Yeah, so going back to those guys, like I don't delete women's comments and they always get the most replies. So what do you think about that?
Uh, the problem with women is they're only able to understand the world through their own eyes. They're not prospective. They don't know how to put themselves in someone else's position. See, the thing about men, we are 80% logic, 20% emotion, right? Women are 20% logic, 80% emotion. So they only understand the world as they see it. So aim to support a group, they can claim to support men's issues, but they'll never really truly know what we're going through or what we feel. And they don't have the mental capacity or the manpower or the influence or the muscle to really create any sort of change to make our lives easier as men. So whether they support us or not is really irrelevant because what can they do to help us?
I know what they can do. I just know that they won't do it, and if they do, it's for ulterior motives. So they can stand against the other women. And we saw this with Donald Trump because the majority of white women voted for Trump. So you see women going against the herd in bigger splits. You know, men split off into smaller sects. You have different political groups. Women really just do one side or the other, you know, because they're herd creatures. They don't want to be ostracized. They need to be in big groups. So they could stand against the alimony system and the divorce courts and all that stuff. I have a feeling they might, probably in the next like 6 or 7 years, when it just gets so fucking bad that, you know, the marriage rates are beyond falling for 25%, because that's what it is. Last I checked for millennials, it fell like 25%, which is huge. Once it hits like 50% or something like that of unmarried millennials, or even Generation Z, that's when they're going to start standing up to the feminists. But the thing is, they're not supporting you. They're not supporting the men's rights movement. They just want you back on the plantation. That's all they want.
Bro,
so it's fake.
Bro, in the chat for like an hour now, and all she's managed to do is stir up drama, piss off like 50 guys who are listening, and get them arguing about God knows what. What value does she bring to the table? What does she contribute? She's claiming she's trying to understand us. All she's done is stir up a shit show in your chat bots as we speak.
That's a great example. And actually, I recognize, what's her name? Carly Ellison. She was one of the first commenters I've ever had on my MGTOW channel. You know, I made a my first video that really took off was my analysis on Francis Bacon, and he had a little essay about being single centuries ago, and she was on that fucking video commenting. So it's it just proves our point that men give these women attention for no reason, because they're simping. These guys are one blowjob away. If you got to the point of acceptance of female nature, you'd understand there's no point in arguing with these people.
Even the guys in your chat are simping as we speak.
They're it's frustrating. It's frustrating, right. But you just gotta, they need to get over it. And if they can't do it, then it just shows that they're stuck. They're stuck in that MGTOW phase. Because
notice how me and you are able to ignore her. And by the way, she would comment on my live streams, and I banned her ass like 2 months ago. But yeah, notice how they can't resist the temptation to talk to her. So that's what I'm saying, bro. Even like 60 to 70% of MGTOW guys are still weak and really don't even bring much to the table as far as making other MGTOW men grow and bringing any sort of value to the table, you know?
Well, they have to humble themselves. That's a big part. They want to feel knowledgeable and informative. You know, they want to throw out statistics to Carly, the woman in chat. They want to throw out all these arguments that we've made in the MGTOW community and seem like well-informed, which they are. It's just, it's not applicable. It's going to go over her head. She doesn't have the capacity to understand that. And even if she said the same shit, well, look at all the trad thoughts on YouTube. Lauren Southern, Roaming Millennial, Blonde in the Belly of the Beast. They just repeat the same shit we've all been saying for years, word for word. That's it. They're not making their own logical arguments.
Of course, and they get even more views than us, even though they talk about watered down versions of information that we created, because no one gives a fuck what they have to say. At the end of the day, they will always be viewed as a sex object first and an intellectual person second.
Yeah, it's very frustrating because those guys, they still see women as equal.
I'm not mad. I'm not mad at her for coming into the chat and trying to stir up shit. That's what women do. I'm disappointed in the people in the chat who are entertaining her ideas and responding to her messages. And when you respond to their messages, you're telling her on a subconscious level that you view her as an equal. She's not an equal. She is your inferior. Women are inferior to men. It's a harsh reality. They're not meant to be talked to as an equal. They're meant to be talked down to as straight up just a subordinate. They're there to help you achieve your goals. You're not there to help a woman achieve her goals. So the fact that they even entertain the idea of trying to convince her means they're still trying to win over mommy's approval. Still functioning on a very low level psychologically.
Yep, and I want your opinion on this. Do you think you can break it? Is it possible?
I think I can break what?
That dependence on female validation.
Oh, well, I've broken my own, yeah, but I can't break theirs because every man has to come to that realization himself. And that could be a lifelong process. Some people it takes 3 years to figure it out. Some people it takes 50 years to wean themselves off that attachment to women. I'm only interested in working with the men who have figured it out and who are functioning on a higher level of consciousness, who are willing to grow and take it to the next level. The men who still haven't figured it out and still refuse to figure it out and still entertain women like this in the chat are worthless to me. And I'll say it to their face. They're worthless to me. I don't want to teach you if you're too dumb to fucking wean yourself off your dependency of female validation. You're not worth teaching then. Pisses you off, then fuck you.
See, I totally understand where you're coming from. You know, it's I do. It's very frustrating. Just some men take longer. You know, maybe they had. You said you were a Muslim. You grew up with some really hard truths. You know, your upbringing was more red pilled than most guys.
Not to mention, bro, I mean, my mother like worshipped me, so she still does to this day. She treats me like a god. So I didn't grow up with this like need for validation from women. This is a Western thing. This is an American thing. So women over there, they treat us like fucking kings. They treat us like we want to be treated. Even my mom to this day treats me the way I want to be treated. So I expect no less from a woman I'm dealing with on a relationship level. And I'm not willing to settle for any woman who's not going to treat me that good. But a lot of these guys who grew up in America, like, you know, fucking shamed them and treated them like shit. And they're still searching for mommy's approval in their late teens and 20s and 30s. And that's just something you got to fucking get over. Because you're not going to get that by trying to convince some attention whore in the chat that you're smart and intellectual and shit. You need to wean yourself off that female, you know?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Some men require more to get over that, you know, and it's the worst time for it to crash.
So what I was going to say before the stream crashed is you have guys in the chat that they claim to be MGTOW, but they are still brainwashed simps. Some of these men were calling me a simp and a vagina worshiper and a blue pill man in your chat. And these same men, when this Carly bitch came in the chat, are the ones who are trying to win her approval over, debate her, and win her. Same men who were calling me like a simp or entertain the idea with a chip like that. They want her and me a simp. It just shows how just because you claim to be MGTOW, still brainwashed and have a lot of growing up to do and a lot of mental programming you need to undo before you're even ready to receive the next level of information, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I just I filter out most of the criticism. It's important to look at it, but if you don't have any constructive shit to say, I really don't care.
Yeah. Pill Wisdom, what's going on, man? I see you.
Oh, he's here, dude. His channel's awesome. Any other specific topics you wanted to talk about before we take some more from?
I'm open to whatever you want to talk about, bro.
I think I missed some questions. Panda says again, what countries would you recommend a MGTOW to live in?
Well, it depends on what you want. If you really want that patriarchy, if you really want that man and woman family thing and man has the power, I would say the Middle East if you can handle it. If you want to be a happy, humble hermit, I would say maybe like Asia, like an Asian country. Like I could see a guy like you doing good in an Asian country, you know, living minimalistically, saving your money, peaceful, you know, no Western politics, maybe getting some kung pao coochie from time to time, you know. That's maybe like for a white guy, I would see like an Asian country working out.
Yeah, I know a lot of MGTOW YouTubers are in Asia. Isn't MGTOW 101 in Thailand or something?
I don't know who he is, but a guy by the name of True Grit Productions, who's a MGTOW. He lives in, I think, East Asia, and he's from California. He's a good YouTuber, by the way. And he talks about how it's so much better in Asia and why he left fucking crazy-ass America.
That's awesome. Joel wants to know, using this woman as an example, any good options for learning to resist female validation?
To them. You just don't entertain them. You let them talk to them fucking selves. Let her talk to a wall. You don't fucking because in her female brain, any attention to her is good attention. You know, it's like, oh, he's validating me by even disagreeing with me. He's validating me by even acknowledging me. He's agreeing with me by even disagreeing with me. That's how a woman's brain works. You have to just starve them.
Yeah, well, I think that's where that rage comes in handy, you know? Because to do anything, you have to get her off the pedestal first. So that's where that rage phase comes in handy, removing her from the pedestal. You just don't want to let it consume you, but if you're seeking tips on how to resist female validation, that means you're not even remotely ready, because you have to consciously think of how to resist her validation. So I would advocate full monk mode, just full isolation if you can't handle that. And then when you're ready, when you're past the need for it, then you can go back out into society.
You know, it's true. Wants us to go in more about the male mentor, the male mother need, because did you have anyone listening or Red Pill Wisdom? I did a video called Kill. That's how you're never given, because to love and appreciate you. So biological, so you have to do the best you can off of it in a society where it can cost you freedom. Our country is a trap. Everything in America is set up to just fucking, you know, screw you over in one way or another. And the laws and everything about this country need for female validation. It knows you have that need for a mother figure. And that's why it creates the laws it does to fuck you, because when you try to fulfill that need through marriage or whatever, there's so many traps behind it from your money and separate you from your freedom. Yourself off of it, because this country you live in is like a fucking war zone.
Hey, that the Discord is sucking ass right now. Do you want to switch to phone?
So what, are you just gonna call me, or I'm calling you? What are we doing?
You can call me. Here, I'll put the number in the chat. Actually, no, I'll just send it to you.
So I don't need my microphone anymore then, right?
No, it'll just be on your phone, because it's my Skype number, so you just call it. I'll splice these two things together. All right, I sent it.
Western business. Obviously, 928-358-1218. All right, calling up.
Cool. I'll disconnect from the Discord. Hey, man.
Yeah, I'd like to talk to the Happy Humble Hermit.
Oh, who's this? Oh, is this Karama?
No, this isn't Karama. This is Bob Simpman. I saw you're doing the MGTOW thing. I think this is a disgrace. I think women are angels, and I think you guys need to respect women.
I mean,
I'm just fucking with you.
I understand you, bro, but, you know, you probably don't get much anyways.
On her finger. Time to man up.
Awesome. Yeah, so the Discord crashed, but the show must go on. It's on Skype.
But yeah, called in with my cell phone. That's how dedicated we are.
How do you do your setup with your calls?
I don't use Discord. What I do, I just have my mic, and I have people call in with their phones, and I just put the mic up to the phone.
That's what I was doing the first couple of calls. The first two live call-ins I did the same thing, and the audio was kind of like not good. So then I paid for a Skype number, and that's what I'm using now. So it's like I'm recording the Skype call.
Well, I host the live streams through YouTube, and then I have my mic connected, and then I just put my cell phone up on top of the microphone when people call in. I don't even use Skype.
That's cool. Yeah. The position of the microphone and the phone is probably what was getting bad audio.
Who knows? Who knows? But we're back and we're live on the air, so.
Yeah, I think that really validates what you were saying the whole stream. You know that was perfect timing for that woman to come into the chat. You know, because these guys were giving you some shit, and we have some disagreements, but I'm also like, I don't disagree that much, you know? Like, and if I start attacking every single person that comes on the stream, no one's going to come on, you know? And I'm not here to start beef. But some of these guys.
You got to see firsthand why I am the way I am. These same guys who are calling me a simp or a mangina are the same guys who caved in and tried to win this Carly bitch's approval over the second she came in. You got to witness it firsthand, bro, and you wonder why I don't deal with like 60 to 70% of MGTOW. Oh shit. Yeah.
OG beta male simp says, I enjoy female validation because it's natural and empowering.
Yeah.
So
that sounds refreshing, man.
Obviously he's a troll, but his point is crucial because that's what guys actually think. It's natural and empowering. And if you realize that, how are you being empowered when she's taking all of your resources, your mental space, your health? I don't see how you're being empowered. So these guys, they just got to learn the hard way.
They do, bro. They do. And the funny thing, man, when I dissed 80% of my subscribers, I thought I was going to get across the board negativity and hatred. The exact opposite happened because a lot of these guys are so feminized. They responded like women. They actually got turned on when I fucking called them out for being retarded. And I actually made like $150 in Patreon donations in one day. When I did my video, Stop Dealing with Broke People, my Patreon money like doubled. And people started apologizing and saying like, I'm going to start coming correct, bro. I want the good knowledge. Like, don't shut me out. Don't like a fucking woman who's like, I'm sorry, don't leave me. I was a bitch. I'm sorry. Like, a lot of these dudes are so feminized. They responded in the same way that a woman who, like, the asshole boyfriend is threatening to break up with would respond. That shows you how feminized so many men are. And that even shows you how feminized so many men in MGTOW are. A good 60 to 70% of them are still very feminized. Just because you call yourself MGTOW doesn't mean you've done the work it takes to truly become a man going his own way in every aspect of life. You're just beginning the journey. You haven't earned the bragging rights or whatever of being a man who's actually totally in mind, body, and spirit going his own way.
You know, that's sad because the cynical part of me says there's always going to be that percentage of men in the MGTOW community, you know? So there's not much we can really do about that.
Like any group, bro, 70 to 80% of people are there to waste time, and only like 10 to 20 are there to actually learn and become great. And I came to that realization a while ago. That's why I want to put together my own little super group of men who are on top of their shit, and we're all just going to kick ass in life, and the rest of them can go fuck themselves. Whoops.
Do you would you ever expand into other forms of media with your MGTOW content?
Yeah, why not? Absolutely.
Do you have any like ideas? Maybe like a book or something, or maybe like audio book?
Yeah, well, the programs that I'm going to be doing are going to be in audio book format, I suppose. So maybe not a written book, but you can go fuck yourself, Karama. I love you too, sweetie. But no, I'm not like an Amazon book, but just like private, secret content to like clients I deem worthy of selling it to, I'd say. You know, like taking things underground, bro, is truly the best way to go. That's just the way I see it.
You know, it's like
I avoid the drama I get from YouTube trying to shut me down, and I avoid the drama that I get from 60 to 70% of guys in MGTOW who are still pretty bitch made and aren't ready.
You came on. I think it was my second call-in show, and you told me like how you're fed up with the trolls, and I didn't really understand until I'm seeing it firsthand. Like, it's ridiculous, the amount of trolls.
Yeah. And and they think they're winning something. Like, they think I give a fuck about their existence. I'm making moves with the people who matter. You're literally you're shooting yourself in the foot when you try to come at me, because I have knowledge that can make your life better, but you're too stupid to see that. So now you're just going to suffer. So enjoy your suffering, I guess. That's the best and I'm going to give that information to the people who are smart enough to appreciate it, and they're going to prosper, and you're not. And that's the end of that.
The troll, but he has a good point. OG beta male simp. How do you stay happy if alone all the time? I can't. I would say I look at what I like doing. I like watching movies, playing video games, reading books, working out. You can't do any of that shit if you're tied down with a woman. So if you don't have hobbies, if you don't have a life outside of a woman, then go back on the plantation. That's where you belong.
Absolutely. Even stuff like this. I was looking forward to doing this call-in show with you. I'm like, oh, fuck yeah, I got the call with Hermit today at 6 o'clock. I'm fucking pumped. You know, find shit you enjoy, find guys you enjoy talking to. But just try not to stay on a very mediocre surface level way of doing it. You know, to me, the guys in MGTOW who just stay on that surface level of just watching the women bashing videos and not the ones that help you grow, how much different is that from a guy at the bar, like some fat fuck at the bar who's just getting drunk with his blue pill dude bros, looking at every pair of tits and ass that walks by, like, bro, what's that fucking, oh, she's so fucking hot. Like, how much different are you really from them? You know?
Exactly, yeah. I mean, I don't like going out. I just go out with coworkers and friends, maybe like once or twice a month. It's an entirely different culture, you know, because I just turned 21 last year, so my expectations were kind of very different from what reality was. It's it's literally like the bar scene is really bad, dude. Like, I've gotten some stuff from bars, but it is not a place you want to be in. And these people, the culture just like hypes it up.
The nightclubs are even worse, bro. It's like a fucking war zone where 50 guys are competing for one average-ass chick, and it's like a barbarian fight to the death for like an average-ass bitch, when I can just go on Tinder and have a bitch that looks just as good delivered to my fucking door for free. And I didn't have to pay $30 to get into the club, you know?
Yeah, that's a great analogy for how it is out there, you know? It's like the best men are smart enough to remove themselves out of the mating game, so all you have left are the pump and dump players and then the fucking hard ass cucks.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
Do you play any instruments?
No, I mean, when I was a kid, like, my mom made me play the violin and I hated it, and then one day I just raged out at her and told her, like, I'm never doing this, and I smashed the violin, and she never made me play the violin ever again. But no, I mean, really, this MGTOW thing, you know, I have my little things I do for money, hang out with some buddies, you know, fuck women, have my little harem like we talked about. That's really all I've been up to lately.
I mean, that's basically what I do too. So it's a simple life, but if it's fulfilling, then that's all that matters.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, bro, this just talking to other guys like you is probably the number one favorite thing that I do, because I don't know, it's such a, in this fucked up society, I feel like it's such a privileged position to be in, to be able to talk to other like-minded guys, you know, in a world that is so the opposite of what we are, you know, to be able to find that, it's definitely, you know, a surreal experience.
It is, dude. It's getting surreal. Like, when I first made the channel, I was just going to do it as like a little hobby, like once a week at most. And now that I'm talking to other MGTOW guys, it's pretty crazy, dude. It took off way faster than I expected.
What makes it so enjoyable is that you're talking to the other guys that are actually on your level and think like you and are actually stimulating to talk to because they actually push themselves. Like, I remember when I called into your show the other day, you were fucking nervous when I'm like, yo, I'm calling in. And I called in because you're like, holy shit, a guy I actually respect, a guy that's actually on my level, a guy that's actually making moves is calling into my show. And this is a rare like mentally stimulating experience, right? Didn't that
It
make
is.
you
That's
feel
exactly
much
what
better?
it was, dude, because I
Right.
listened to your content. So to actually have like a one-on-one discussion, you know, and I didn't expect it because you just called in out of nowhere. It kind of threw me off.
Exactly. And what made it so surreal and so magical is that it's a guy who put in the work to be fucking really informed, just like you, who's actually going to bring value when he calls in. And that's what made it so enjoyable. Now, imagine if somehow there was a way to get every shithead listening to this chat right now to be on the same wavelength me and you are mentally. Imagine how many more cool, fun people we would have to talk to and learn and grow with instead of just the average MGTOW shithead who just kind of like burps and watches the feminist hate videos and isn't really functioning on a higher level consciously. Imagine if we could lift those guys up and make them like us, and then suddenly we're actually really powerful, you know? But that's just probably never going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, it can happen. You just gotta put that focus onto that small percentage, because if we ever try to like project that onto the majority, we're gonna be disappointed.
Right?
But
they're going to reject it because their minds just can't handle it.
yeah,
And the sad reality is that just goes to show that most MGTOW men, a good 60 to 70% of them, dare I even say 80% of them, are really no better than a blue pill man. Mentally, they're really not much better, and they really don't have really any more value. But so now that we know we can't do that, imagine if guys like me and you put together our own little group of maybe 5 or 6 other guys that are thinking just like me and you are. Maybe they're even also MGTOW content creators. And we all started making moves in our personal lives and hanging out in our personal lives and doing shit. Wouldn't that also be fucking amazing?
I mean, that would. The only thing you gotta protect yourself against is making an echo chamber. You know, you don't want guys who only disagree with you, but I see what you're saying. Yeah, you need to have like a baseline standard to filter out the shit posts.
Yeah. But I don't know, man. That's just my little dream or whatever, is to have like a group of maybe 5 or 6 MGTOW guys who are making moves together, making money together. I can be like, yo, Hermit, man, let's go fly out to fucking Dubai for the weekend and like rent some jet skis, because me and you used our connections to help each other make money, right? So now we can go out and do fun shit and be like, not only are we men going our own way, but we're actually fucking free in every sense of the world, and in every sense of the word. And the world is now our oyster because we used our higher level of intelligence to help make each other prosper. And we did that with maybe 5 or 6 other guys, and they did that with 5 or 6 other guys. And now we have like a real fucking super group of like free badass, you know, dudes who can just do whatever the fuck they want.
I mean, I think I need
we're not going to be able
a better job to go to Dubai, but yeah, I get what you're saying.
Right, but maybe you will meet a guy in the MGTOW supergroup who will put you in that position to where you do have a better job. Now you are making more money. Now you are a little bit more free in that sense. Whereas the average level 1 MGTOW guy could never do that for you because he just wants to shitpost and watch fucking 10 things I hate about feminist videos, you know?
Yeah. It's,
I don't know. Interesting little idea, right?
It is. It's difficult, you know? Yeah. What, who are you going to talk to next? Like, I think Sunrise Hoodie would be a good person to talk to. I don't know if you listen to him.
Yeah, he was out when I first made my channel, but I replied to him too late, and he ended up doing a live stream with someone else. So it just never happened. I've called in and talked to Darius a bunch of times. So me and him already, maybe we'll put that together too, you know?
Awesome.
Absolutely.
The divide on YouTube is very interesting. Like, for the MGTOW creators. Because it's you, me, Undead, and Sunrise. We're the youngest guys, and then everyone else is like middle-aged, older guys. You know?
Yeah. And I guess we can X off Undead because he got taken out, so now it's just me, you, and Sunrise Hoodie, right?
Yeah, well, he got taken down on his own accord. YouTube didn't take him down. He took himself down. He took his own channel down. But it is interesting to see that, how the philosophy can incorporate younger guys. I think it's very important to reach those younger guys, especially younger than us, like high school and 18 and up. Like, that's the use of those feminist videos that I was told if no one else hears it. You know, we have to make sure the message gets heard.
Yeah, it is. It is. I don't know. It's tricky, man. It's tricky. It's tricky. You know, it's funny. Other MGTOW YouTubers have predicted the downfall of MGTOW, and a lot of the stuff they've said is actually happening in real time. And I have to admit, I'm even playing a part of it because one of the things was predicted was that there will be Twitch, there will be certain MGTOW guys who want to take their own little groups and do their own thing. And I've got to admit, I'm one of them because I'm just seeing how useless so many men are and how they're just not willing to grow. And it's like, dude, you're just dead weight. So I guess even I'm, dare I say, playing into the downfall of what we call MGTOW at this current state, you know?
Yeah, it's the dilution of the community. Do you read the subreddit, the MGTOW subreddit?
No, I don't even use Reddit, honestly. I know it exists. I've seen it from time to time, but I'm never on Reddit.
Yeah, I've been there for a couple years, and just looking at the state of that, the quality has definitely declined.
Yeah.
That's really what happened to the Red Pill subreddit, because I started there first. That subreddit had a bunch of wisdom, you know, real wisdom, and then it became, at the end, just like pickup artist shit and worshiping women and validating women. It was so fucking bad. It didn't even represent what it used to be, and I'm afraid that's what's going to happen with MGTOW.
Yeah, it's been predicted. And bro, look at the very first MGTOW guys. You know, like Stardust and what is it, Barbarossa and the Stinking Ape and all these guys. You remember them? The very first.
Yeah, the OG guys.
They were functioning on a much higher level of consciousness than most MGTOW are now. What happened is it got big, more fucking retards came into it and decided, I want to stamp myself with that label of MGTOW too. And what also happened is the guys who listened to our content became cocky. Like I told you, guys who first started listening to my content, they're humble in the beginning. Then once they feel like they've learned enough from me, they get cocky and they want to challenge me, not knowing that I've only given them maybe 5% of what I know. And then they turn on you. And you're going to see that with some of your subscribers. Other content creators have been through it. It's like they start to feel like they're the head honcho because I've been in MGTOW for so long now. I have power, I have a position, and it's like you fucking don't. And all you're doing is creating a rift, and all you're doing is forcing the content creators like me to go underground with a very small handful of people we deem worthy to continue teaching because you've proven that you're too fucking incompetent and arrogant to continue teaching.
I have a question from Red Robin for you. What are your thoughts on neo-masculinity?
What is that exactly, neo-masculinity? Like, what is the definition of that?
I saw a post on it from, what is it? Return of Kings. That's Roosh V. Do you know who Roosh is?
I know who he is. I've seen a little bit of his stuff.
It was basically like, again, it was like the end of Red Pill. It was blending like Red Pill with like pickup artist shit. Chat can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's what it was. Basically, it was just like masculinity adapted to modern society, modern gynocentric society, like trying to avoid admitting that you're going to be a simp. You know, it was trying to navigate, so I'm going to validate women, but I'm not doing it for them, I'm doing it for myself, stuff like that.
I mean, I guess to a degree we all can say we are forced to be whatever sort of neo-masculinity, because in this Western world, under these laws, we are not legally allowed to be as masculine as we want to be. Otherwise, we'll be taken to jail. So we're actually all forced to sort of be beta males to a certain degree, myself included. I'm not allowed. And me and you both have invisible handcuffs on us right now where we're not truly allowed to express who we are. We'll get fucking stomped down by the powers that be. So, yeah, we are sort of neo-masculine navigating this fucked up society, trying to, maintain as much power as we can,
You should expand on that. What do you mean?
Okay. For example, let's pretend the guys in the chat who are like shit talking, we're saying that to my face in real life, right? And let's pretend we're in America. Now, in my mind, I should be able to cut their heads off for shit talking me and provoking me because the animalistic man in me wants to do that because I feel challenged, right? But in this Western world, I know I would go to jail if I were to do something as fucking insane as cutting someone's head off or getting in my face or shit talking me, right? It's kind of the same thing with women. When they disrespect you, you're not allowed to G-check them. You're not allowed to say, look, bitch, you better get in line. I don't want to take your shit. Otherwise, she'll call the cops, lie that you hit her. You'll go to jail for like 10 years. You know, there's a much, the boys in blue will take you away. You know, there's a bigger gang than you running this society. And you're not free to express who you really are because you don't have any power. You know, you'll get taken to jail, get locked up, whatever. There is you are in handcuffs right now. Do you feel 100% free? Do you feel like you could go out right now and do whatever you wanted to do?
I mean, I wouldn't want to attack people. If a guy talks shit to my face, I don't need to attack him.
Not even that. That's an extreme example. But like, let's say, okay, let's say a girl pushed you, and I've had this happen to me personally. Girls I've dated, they get in my face. They start clawing at me. I've even had girls wave knives at me. I've even had girls try to fucking stab me.
I have,
right?
yeah.
Girls
Well, I'll just say this: I have a huge fucking scar on my right hand from a girl. She tried to kill me with a knife. So like, you're totally right because I did not hit back. I didn't do shit because I know whatever happened, I would be the criminal. So you're right. I can't operate freely in society like that.
Of course. And it's not even just physically. It's even saying what you want to say. If I were to say any of the stuff I'm saying to you at a Starbucks with a couple of guys and a couple of women, the whole fucking Starbucks would get triggered and turn on me in real time. So am I really free as a man to express even my verbal opinions? Not my physical desires, but even my verbal opinions. Am I free to express those either?
We're always going to be the outcasts. You know, I can say what I want to say on YouTube as long as I keep having that. It's okay. But you're right. It's all about the audience. You know, if I go into a gynocentric place like Starbucks, then I'm gonna have a different reaction.
Let me tell you something, man. It's not even guaranteed that you will even have this verbal free speech on the internet for much longer. This can get taken away from you too. And then what do you have?
You're right. You're right. I mean, we can keep trying to make new channels, but I mean, you're always going to be suppressed by the majority. That's the end game of mob rule. You know?
Yeah.
It's the popular opinion, not the best one that wins out.
Yeah, well, it's the opinion that serves a very small group of people at the top that will always, you know, rule. But so yeah, to answer whoever's question that was, yeah, I guess we are all sort of forced to be neo-masculine to a degree.
NP Dubes has a question for you. Your opinion on single moms.
Oh, man. I mean, if you guys saw my video, A Girl Named Jasmine, I went through hell with a single mom. From my experience, something about having a kid without a man just hardens women, and it really kills their ability to love a man and put a man first. See, a man's natural authority, for that matter, a man's ruling right is you put the man before the kids. The man and the woman come before the kids. That's the hierarchy of a marriage. But so many women put themselves and their kids before their man, and no real man wants to be a part of that. So a lot of single moms are forced to settle for complete fucking beta males because they don't know how to put a man first. They're like, well, I've already had the kid by myself. I'm independent. I get this fucking government money. Well, he should be lucky to even be with me. And it's like, nah, bitch, you should be lucky to even be with me.
Yeah, I mean, I can't really speak onto that because I've never dealt with a single mom before. I do deal with older women because I think it's easier. Not older, but like one of the girls I'm seeing is 26 and I'm 22, so the relationship is a lot easier. It's not burdened as much because, you know, going back to what I said earlier, I'm just providing a certain thing for her. Single moms though, I would never fuck with that. Like I'm just too paranoid. Yeah, Red Robin wants to know if you're right wing or left wing.
I'm neither, but if I really had to pick one with a gun to my head, I'd say I'm closer to right wing.
Yeah, I love politics, but I vowed I'd never vote for a politician from a young age. because career politicians are kind of the opposite of what a democracy should be. You shouldn't have people dependent on the laws for their jobs, you know, because then they won't make laws that are good for the people if they're not good for them. But I did vote for Trump, but that's because he wasn't a politician. But you know, I'm also not supportive of everything he does, you know. But MGTOW is apolitical.
Yeah, I hear you. I don't know, man. I don't believe that our votes count for shit. I feel like it's all just a fucking lie. I think the powers that be determine that shit long before it comes to us, yeah.
I agree with you. It was more of just like a shit post, you know, in the ballot. When I went to the voting place, I wore like a MAGA hat and a MAGA shirt, and everyone there was just staring at me. Like everyone in the line just turned and just stared at me as I was there, you know, and just tried to pressure me out of leaving the place because they were so uncomfortable. But my state is like supposed to be conservative, and it's so fucking weird. But
yeah, I'm just happy Hillary didn't win, because we would have never heard the fucking end of it. Like bitches that I would go on dates with would have been like, "We have a woman president, so you have to do that."
Well, I mean, you got the other side of it now. Like everyone talks about Trump. It's so bullshit. Like most people who are talking about politics should just shut the fuck up. Like that's why I don't talk about politics on my channel. A, because it's MGTOW is apolitical, but also, you know, I'm not well versed enough to give you political advice like that. I can shoot the shit, but I'm not going to sit here and make dedicated videos about, you know, the Federal Reserve, because I'm not well versed in that.
Yeah, I hear you.
Do you think, question from chat, do you think conservatives are willing to take women's rights away?
Whether they are or not doesn't matter, because they have no influence whether that happens or not. If the people who run the country view that it is time to take women's rights, I think it will happen, honestly. I think there will be a shift and women's rights will be taken away. I think, like I said, if you watch my video, Me Too is part of the plan. And my mentor, Mr. Jones, talks about this. He says, make no mistakes, the powers that be will turn on women eventually. This whole women's empowerment and giving women rights and taking men's away is a sort of tactic designed to make men and women hate each other, so that when women's power is taken away, men don't even want to help them anymore because they hate them so much and see what they were like when they had power, that they're so disgusted. And there's like supposedly an even bigger agenda than just dividing men and women and just giving women power. Supposedly, according to my mentor, it's going to flip again and men are going to get the power again and women are really going to suffer. But I don't know what happens after that, and I don't know why it's going to go in that direction. And I can't see what the big picture is. But that's according to the guy who I look up to. So I don't know.
Do you if society was different, would you take a wife?
If I had all the power, like I should, all the legal power, and I wasn't in like a racist, sexist, gynocentric shithole, and I was making good money, and I had a submissive, loving woman, absolutely, I'd have a wife. I might have 2 or 3 of them, and I'd have kids too.
Do you ever feel like sad that you won't be able to do that, or are you over it?
I might be able to do it. I might, if I'm fucking like rich and successful and shit, I might do it in the Middle East where I have the power. I've talked about that in many videos. If the circumstances are right and I know I'm going to be fucking respected and I have the power, and I really screened out the woman and she really meets my criteria, I might fucking take a chance on it in like 15 or 20 years. But definitely not in this country.
So let me ask you this, because I didn't know you were Muslim or you had a Muslim background, so this would be interesting. With Saudi Arabia, you're kind of seeing what happens when Islam goes against gynocentrism, and it seems like I'm not going to start throwing out predictions because it is like a small step, but it is a step, you know, with giving women the right to drive, like that.
Yeah.
Do you think like what if the Middle East becomes gynocentric?
Yes, and if it does, then I will not ever have a wife and kids anywhere. If it becomes like the U.S., then and I'm going to take the same approach that I take in the U.S., you know?
I mean, what if it becomes like the U.S. over time? That's the trick. You know, what if you go over in 15 years and it's not gynocentric, but then it becomes gynocentric? Like, I know a lot of guys on my channel,
well,
they wouldn't have married if things were different.
Me, well, you know, now you're exploring a darker side of me. I mean, if they try to trap me over there and I'm in a situation I really don't want to be in, well, then I'm going to start taking other measures that might be looked down upon. You know, you're not going to trap me. So I don't give a fuck about the law. If I'm really bait and switched over there somehow, if I'm somehow not able to see it coming, which I doubt will happen, then I'll just start doing other shit to navigate around the law. You know, I'll just get into some gangster shit straight up. I don't know how to ward it any other way. I'll just take the law into my own hands. That's what I would do. If I was really bait and switched and really trapped over there, then yeah, I would just get into some other shit if you catch my drift.
Yeah, so I see that you value wealth. But wouldn't you be giving that up if you take a wife? Like, even if, assume like you have the prenups and you're not getting divorced, you're still investing into that family.
Number one, there doesn't have to be any prenups because according to what Sharia law is, to my knowledge, she's not getting money from me if we get divorced, from what I know. I could be wrong. It could be going in that gynocentric direction. Of course, I'd do my research before I would ever get involved in something like that, but I would never get involved in a situation that separates me from my money, you know, legally. That's not happening.
Well, yeah, not legally, but assume you don't get divorced. You're still raising the kids, you're still providing for the wife?
Well, if it's a loving wife who I care about and who's good to me and the kids, you know, like everything is decent, then I'm happy to do that. You know, we talked about that at the beginning of the stream. In a healthy society, men enjoy having a wife and kids. In a healthy, stable society, a nuclear family is a beautiful thing. In a sick, gynocentric fucking war zone like this country, it's the worst thing you could ever do.
It is. I agree. Yeah, it's a lot of guys want the family. I used to. I just realized that you're still losing out. Even if you have male authority, you're still losing out.
Yeah, I mean, see, the difference between me and you is I've been treated so good by certain women that I know how good it can be. From what you tell me, from what me and you, you know, the way we talk, I feel like you've never even been exposed to a decent woman. So all you know is what you've been through. That's why you feel so adamant about, no, even if I had it, it would still be slavery, because subconsciously you're still imagining a shitty woman as your wife because that's all you've been exposed to. So I don't blame you. I've been treated like a god by certain women, so I know how good it can be under the right circumstances. That's why I would be more willing to take a chance on it under the right conditions.
Yeah,
but I don't blame.
I see. Yeah, I see that. I'm just saying, like, it removes the flexibility, you know, because now you can't just get up and move, or you can't just get up and get a new career because you have to take care of that family. Yeah. So now you're making those sacrifices.
That's why it's better to also get into that later in life. Like, I would do it maybe around 40, 45, when I feel like I've lived a full bachelor life, you know, that way. I'm not really like, there isn't too much more that I need to get out of my system. Hopefully. Maybe I'm still making a huge mistake. Maybe it's still going to be a fucking disaster, even if I got everything the way I wanted. But the best I can see it, if I did it later in life, you know, when I was a little older and more mature and got all the crazy, wild young man shit out of my system, it could be a very fruitful, you know, endeavor.
Yeah, I get you, man. I have a question from NP Dude. Your opinions on massage parlors staffed with exotic women. So I went to Vegas earlier this year for a rave festival. I made a video with footage from it. I went into a massage parlor, but I didn't do anything. I just wanted to see. It was kind of like split half and half from what I could tell. It was like younger Vietnamese women and then older ones. But I mean, I don't know if I would do that. It just seems like, because like any homeless guy off the street could get in there. So that's like, I mean, that's what women are nowadays anyways, because they have so many sexual partners. You know, if they're guaranteed to have at least one unsavory partner. You know, if she's been with 15 guys, at least one of them is like someone that probably has something that you would not. If you saw him and you knew that she did that, you'd probably run the other way. But
Yeah.
at least when I saw it with my own eyes, I just couldn't do it.
Yeah. I hear you. I know. I don't know. Massage parlors just aren't my thing. I've never tried it.
Would you ever get a prostitute? Is that something?
No, I've never done that either. I don't know, man. It's not even so much. You know, it's just a pride thing. I don't know. It's just a fucking pride thing. It's not so much that I disagree with it morally. Maybe it's just a pride thing. I'm like, I'm not giving that bitch my money. Like, no. Like, it's a fair exchange. If she doesn't want, like, dick for pussy is a fair exchange to me. Why should I have to pay for that, you know? That's just my pride, though. That's not even a logical thing. That's just like, no, I'm not doing that, you know? But I understand guys who do it. You know, it's safer than running out and hooking up and shit. But I'm just not paying for it.
Well, even though you and I may get it for free, we're still paying with our time.
I guess, but I usually do it at times when I wouldn't be doing any. Like, for example, I'm going to see a chick on Saturday, right? I don't have shit to do on Saturday. So she's the only thing I have to do on fucking Saturday. I handled all my business before Saturday. Now I'm just chilling. So I'm having fun. I'm not sacrificing one thing to get the other at that point.
True. I mean, I see what you're saying. It's good to have downtimes. I do the same thing. Usually it's the weekends. You know, work hard during the week and then unwind on the weekend.
Absolutely. You can make, like I said, bro, you can have everything you want in life if you just are smart and discreet about it.
How often is it healthy to fap? Another fap question. These guys are obsessed with fapping.
At least 3 times a day.
Oh my gosh. I think, what do you think about like a younger MGTOW channel coming up? Because I have a feeling we're going to see that soon. Like, maybe like a high school or an 18-year-old MGTOW. I think that would be very interesting.
I don't know. It's possible. Yeah, I mean, it has to happen. I mean, look at, dude, me and you are 22. Look at, one day we're going to be old and there's going to be a new batch of 22-year-olds. The difference to me is not so much what happens to the movement. It's what you do with the movement. You know, how are you going to use MGTOW to make your life better, regardless of whether you become old or you're the young hot shot on the block or whatever. How are you going to use this group to benefit your life? Because ultimately, if we're a bunch of guys getting together, why shouldn't we be prospering off each other's information and connections and building something even bigger than just a hangout? You know, to me, the biggest tragedy is for us to just not use this platform to its fullest potential, and then for us to have it get taken away from us. And then after it gets taken away from us, we're all wishing, fuck, I wish I talked to that guy more. Fuck, I wish I got to know this guy better and made some connections and made some moves. And, you know, like that regret of not fully capitalizing off of this rare opportunity we all have to be in the same cyber room together, you know, networking essentially.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting. Yeah, it does. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see the migration from YouTube, because TFM just got banned off Twitch. So they're going to start really pushing for censorship.
I don't think there will be much of a migration, bro. I mean, look, me and you are struggling. Me and you are struggling to even get 50 to 100. I mean, I get like 100 people per live stream I do. I see you're getting like 50 to 80. For a huge platform like fucking YouTube, with all the men that surf YouTube, that shouldn't be. We should have 10,000 people in our fucking live streams. The fact that me and you are struggling to even get 200 people in our live streams shows that if YouTube gets taken down or we get kicked off YouTube, we're essentially fucked, because If we're getting 200 people on YouTube, that means we would be getting like 5 people on BitChute.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. That's if I get banned off YouTube, I'm not leaving YouTube. I'll just make a different account. You know?
Yeah, but it'll always take another piece of you. Every time you start over, you're gonna lose a little more and more of your subscriber base or whatever. So that's why I'm saying, why not actually start exchanging information with each other and actually networking? So if we all get kicked off this YouTube shit, we all have each other's information in the real world, and we're all just making boss moves and shit, regardless of whether or not we have our free speech anymore.
Awesome, man. Well, are there any other topics you wanted to address before we wrap the stream up?
Not really. I see you're about to wrap it up. I just want to, thank you again for the opportunity to come on, and I'm always free to do this.
Yeah,
I'm always
dude.
open to it.
Yeah, I'll definitely. I don't think you like the super long form content because I think we just talked for over 3 hours.
Shit.
But I'll definitely. I'll call into one of your shows, man.
Oh, anytime, bro. Anytime.
Awesome. Well, we got to do this again. Thanks for coming on, man.
Definitely. Appreciate the call, man.
Take care.
All right.